Tonight on the Black Channel.
And you attack the president, and I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it. You know, all they want to do, the American people need to know this. They are talking about Epstein today. This has been around since the Obama administration. This administration released over 3 million pages of documents, over 3 million. And Donald Trump signed that law to release all of those documents. He is the most transparent president in the nation's history. And none of them asked Merrick Garland over the last 4 years one word about Jeffrey Epstein. How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
Mr.
No. There comes a point in time where you think that you've heard every absurd, outrageous thing imaginable. At least that's what you tell yourself. These are people who have been to law school, at least allegedly somebody's law school somewhere. These are people who allegedly have credentials. These are people who allegedly have credentials, which means that they have something to lose. And yet, that's what you just heard from Pam Bondi this week, called in to the Epstein hearings. She was asked if they have indicted anyone. And as you saw, she just immediately ignored the question and goes off on a rant saying that the only reason you're having these hearings is because the Dow is over 50,000. This is the kind of mental and emotional insanity that flies when you are in the presence of Donald Trump, who's currently in the presence of losing what's left to his mind. And this is the sitting Attorney General of the United States, former Attorney General in the state of confusion, also known as the state of Florida. What? Folks, this would all be incredibly hilarious if this wasn't real. There's the point about it. Folks, this is real. This isn't a Saturday Night Live skit. This is the sitting Attorney General of the United States, and that is a real response that she gave with the cameras and the eyes of the world watching, and she said it without batting an eye. Because this is the type of irrational lunacy that they say when they're around King Emperor in Pants Trump. Now, let's be very, very clear. Pam Bondi, or as others call her, Pam Blondie, even if it's in a can or a bottle, this is what happens when you have a state and political parties that choose the individuals that they put in positions of authority based upon how well they can wear a skirt and how similar to the debutantes they were in college that she looks. Never mind the fact that she is a complete and utter total buffoon as far as what she's supposed to know. But this goes deeper than that, people. This goes deeper than that because, you see, during this hearing, they brought in some of Jeffrey Epstein's victims. They were standing there, And she sat there and said this in the middle of that. She sat there and said it in the middle of that. You want to know how corrupt the American federal government is? You want to know how diseased it is? You want to know how far in the wood the rot has gotten? You want to know what it is? I mean, this is a perfect illustration of exactly how rotten to the core the American federal government is. That she said something like that at something this serious, and both houses, both parties did not rise up in unison and demand that she be taken out of there in handcuffs. That is just how ludicrously corrupt this government has become. This is an embarrassment. They should be humiliated. But then again, you see, America's government has been corrupt for a very long time, but now that it's time to do something for the white population, and the government's like, yeah, we're not going to do anything there either. Now it becomes glaringly obvious. You see, all of us have known this for some time right here, that you can have a sitting government official say something absolutely insane, that they are not completely embarrassed to mouth something like that. And she didn't just say it, she said it with defiance and with conviction. I submit to you, I submit to all of you that, like everything else, when you have politicians who are deliberately, consciously, openly, defiantly speaking against your interests to your face, telling you that it don't matter, that means there's somebody else behind the scenes who's sliding the paper to them. They're following somebody else's orders. If you all agree with that, give me the pencil emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. It's over 2,200 people in here live in just the first few minutes. It's over 2,200 people in here live in just the first few minutes. But if you all agree with what I'm saying here tonight, give me the pencil emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. The American federal government has become so insanely corrupt at this point. It has become so insanely corrupt at this point that you have a sitting attorney general who is openly contemptuous of the interests of the American people, but in particular of the interests of white females. Pam Bondi is a white female. I put female in quotations as a qualifier. And yet, do you see the utter disdain and contempt with which she holds the very idea that she should uphold anything for other white females? Does it sound familiar? Please understand, Jeffrey Epstein was not by himself. Jeffrey Epstein had a number of women around him who were engaging in it with him. Remember the words of Oscar Wilde, everything in life is about sex except sex. Sex is about power. Pam Bondi has been given the power. Remember, it is not power unless you can abuse it. Pam Bondi has been given the power to violate you. And just like Jeffrey Epstein got a huge arousal out of violating the people around him, violating their privacy, violating their bodies, violating their secrets. The women that he gathered around him, he learned how to give them a taste for violating other people too. Isn't that fun? Aren't you enjoying it? Don't you relish being able to violate these folks around you? You saw the same thing with Hillary Clinton once upon a time, while the women that Bill Clinton had been carousing with and maybe doing illegal things there with, Hillary Clinton was completely dispassionate about it, unmoved. Joe Biden was accused by some women of doing some inappropriate things, remember? And Kamala Harris was asked about that, and she said, I believe those women. When they say what Joe Biden did, I believe all women. As soon as Joe Biden says she can be my vice president, she says, shut them damn heifers back there up. Joe Biden's great, good people. And she continues to defend Joe Biden to this very day. This was after she told you she believed those women. And she said to them chicks there, y'all hoes, shut the hell up. I'm going to the White House. And that was the last time you heard anything from those females now, wasn't it? You all can't even tell me the names of those women without having to go to Google and research it and look them up. You don't know their names off the top of your head. That's just how quickly they asses got swept under the rug. Ain't gonna make it. This is not about justice, which is why having justice is a new concept here. This is not about justice. This is about power. This is about how power moves. This is about what power does. This is about how power operates. Power does not have to take a vote. That is the first thing that you will learn if you encounter real power, is that power does not have to hold a vote. Power does what power wants. Power does what power needs. And you can sit right there and you can tell it and scream at the top of your lungs about how 2 + 2 = 4. Power says 2 + 2 = whatever I say it does. There are a whole bunch of folks out there right now who are asking the questions. Why were they fighting over these files? Why were they trying to keep from releasing them? What in the world was going on? What in the world were they so afraid of? People, I need you all to know that since those 3 million documents dropped, they've been fighting tooth and toenail to keep them from coming out. Do you all realize how the dominoes have been falling now over the last few days since those documents came out? Since they unredacted names, do y'all realize how the dominoes have been falling? Let me show you on your screens here right quick. And this is just a few of the samplings. This is not all of them by any stretch of the imagination here. Kathy Rumler, chief legal officer at Goldman Sachs, the legal officer, chief lawyer at Goldman Sachs, is going to be resigning. I think she's leaving in June as a direct result of her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. At least they're giving her some time to clear out her offices. She didn't make it 50 years down the damn line. As soon as the documents came out, they let her know, yeah, you got to go. Top lawyer at Goldman Sachs. It didn't take months, folks. The dominoes began falling immediately. Once again, what's his name? Al Sullivan with DP World. They told him, yeah, dude, you're a billionaire sultan. You're also unemployed. You out. We ain't gonna have it. You got to go. Immediately. He was the guy who was at Epstein's table or whatever. He was the guy at the kitchen table there. That fella right there. If you remember, we covered these pictures here before. Remember we covered these pictures here before? That guy. Yeah, that's him. He was the one who Epstein thanked for the torture video. He was the one with the talking about thank you for the torture video with Epstein. Yeah. Yeah, he got to go. Didn't make it any amount of time. You got to go. You want to know what they were fighting over? There's billions at stake. And the moment you mention my name, the folks, y'all know how it is in power. There are people around you. You got a seat at the damn table. But if they got a chance to get rid of you, if they get something damning on you, it's cutthroat, not for justice. Why is he yelling it? Because nobody else is telling it. It's not about justice. Folks not liking the program here tonight. I must be offending Jeffrey Epstein's pals or admirers. Okay, let me say a few more things here then. Folks, it's not about power or justice. You see, in the cutthroat world of international finance and business, you're the chief legal officer, but what that also means is that there are about 10 or 12 other folks who did not get the position they applied for it and could not have it. And therefore, if they have an underhanded way and some underhanded weapons with which to get you out of the way, now that seat suddenly becomes available. Somebody in the chat room said Game of Thrones. You damn right.
And deal with it.
Not for you, not for the greater good, not for justice, but because, there's about to be an opening. I see how I can use this. I see how I can use this for my benefit. Not about justice. Y'all understand something? When you make it up into the upper echelons of these companies, when you make it into the executive boards and executive committees of these companies and the executive level of these companies, what's the first thing they want to do here? Man, there's a whole bunch of folk there like, I'll be damned. Another blonde chick who they just got her because she wears a skirt. Well, you know what? Let me look through these Epstein files over here right quick. Let me get one of these files right here. There we go. Let me go rummaging through these files. Let me see here. I get on the computer. No, let me type in her name. And then they started. That's why the documents were redacted. Think about this for a few moments, folks. The documents, you have vice presidents of Goldman Sachs. You have billionaire sultans. I mean, we're not talking about millions of dollars. We're talking about only hundreds of millions and billions of dollars, altogether in aggregate trillions of dollars here. For the Sultan, y'all know how things go over there in the Middle East. Everybody out to get everybody over there. So it's like, oh, hell, finally a chance to get you out the way. Yeah, look here. We're going to drop a few documents about these emails about what you like to do on the weekends here. And let's go ahead and get you on out the way. This opens up a slot for somebody else in the family or whatever. It's like, yeah, we've been waiting for a minute to get some dirt on you. We've been waiting around for a minute to get some dirt on you. Finally, because we knew you was up to something. We just didn't have the goods on you, but now we got the goods on you. We gonna work it. It didn't take them very long at all now, did it? They're just like, yeah, grand opening, grand closing. We finally get to get you on up out of here. We finally get to get you on up out of here. Yeah, we got you making all nice with Epstein. See, it's not enough to be in the Epstein files, people. That's not what's going to damn you. What's going to damn you is not being in the Epstein files. So that's why when you talk about the NFL or Jay-Z or whatever, your name being mentioned is not enough. The smoking gun is you having personal emails with Jeffrey Epstein, making kissy faces and talking all nice. That's what's gonna do you in right there. That's what the smoking gun that folks are looking for. They want to know if you were spending personal time with him. That's what they're looking for. And if you got any enemies around at the company or whatever the case may be, they're like, yeah, I've been waiting a minute to get at you. Yeah, I saw them emails now, so You can't even go out and represent the company anymore. You can't even do that. So they need to just go ahead and fire you and put me in your seat. It's a bunch of folks on that right now. It's a bunch of people on that right now. That's what's really happening. They see an opportunity to use these emails to get some of these folk that entrenched in situations. All right, we can go ahead and get you on up off the block. We can go ahead and do that. And it keeps going here, folks, from CNN. Epstein fallout is rocking the paleontology community.
Nigga, what?
As one British dinosaur convention has banned attendance from some scientists named in the Epstein files. What? I mean, people, you just thought it was politics and academia and high finance. You thought that was it. It's like, oh, hell no. Anybody and everybody. If you was making nice, oh, you got to go. No, we can't fool with you. You want to know why they were protecting folk like this? I mean, it's anywhere and everywhere. The dominoes are falling. And this is just from the documents we've been able to get our hands on. Remember, they've destroyed a bunch of documents and things. It was so damn voluminous. These are just the documents that you have seen with the stuff here, man. Everywhere you looking, dominoes are falling left and right, man. They didn't want the real stuff getting out, and the real stuff hasn't gotten out yet. This is just the peripheral stuff getting out, and folks are losing their jobs, losing their positions. Don't you know it's a bunch of people sweating bullets right now? And this is important. It is important because, remember, it is these big investment banks that pay off the politicians and pay off the former presidents. Remember? So you see, if some of these people in positions of power at these banks, if they ain't there, they like, hey, you better hold my slot together, because if I ain't here, you might not get that payout you supposed to get. So you really need to hold it together for me here and keep that back, because, yeah, it ain't gonna help. However, here's my issue. So let me get this straight. The chief, Jeffrey Epstein, knew the chief legal officer at Goldman Sachs, but he didn't have any communications with the CEO of Goldman Sachs. Lie. So Jeffrey Epstein had some back and forth with the chief legal officer, but none with the brass, none with the CEO, COO, none of the cats at the top. He ain't talked to none of them. So he was talking to the chief legal officer, but he wasn't talking to none of the guys at the top. No, that don't sound quite right. That does not sound quite right to me at all right there. It sounds like somebody is leaving something out is what it sounds like to me. No, I'm not buying that one. No, you're going to have to convince me. I'm not convinced. You're going to have to convince me that they ain't talking to him. That somebody hadn't said anything. You're going to have to convince me of that. What it shows you is just how corrupted the system actually is. It just shows you how rotted it is, how long it's been going on. And we use cliches like power protects itself and they quote, they own everything. We do all that right there. It's like, man, you don't understand the level to which they do. It's just like they literally want to have the ability to grab you or your daughter up off of the streets, sexually violate the both of you, and then drop y'all off on a damn corner somewhere, and y'all just sitting there crying and boo-hooing, and the police is like, yep, can't help you. Can't do nothing for you. Oh, you went to Epstein Island? Yeah, we don't really cover that. This is where we're at today with it, with a sitting Attorney General of the United States when she in front of the world with all the cameras on her, and when asked whether or not she had indicted any of Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirators, or was there anybody he was planning on indicting, she said, I ain't got to answer that. And instead, you sit here and you attack the president, and I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it. You know, all they want to do, the American people need to know this. They are talking about Epstein today. This has been around since the Obama administration. This administration released over 3 million pages of documents, over 3 million. And Donald Trump signed that law to release all of those documents. He is the most transparent president in the nation's history. And none of them asked Merrick Garland over the last 4 years one word about Jeffrey Epstein. How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over $50,000. I don't know why. I'm sure you all could hear and could tell this. She started laughing. What she was saying was so utterly ridiculous. You all heard it. She started laughing her damn self. Like, okay, Donald Trump said, I got to say this, because that's a mess he would say. Trump said, I got to say this or he's going to can me as the attorney general. And you saw she started laughing because she knows how insanely ludicrous this is. Word about Jeffrey Epstein. How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over $50,000. Did you all see how she was fighting with the Dow? Now, by the way, there was a photographer behind her who gotten pictures of what she had on her papers there to say. Basically, they gave her a script of what to say. Did you see how she stumbled and stuttered over that Dow 50? The Dow, that's a person who's having a mental conflict because she knows that once she says these words, her public career status and credibility are gone. So it's basically marching yourself off to your own execution. No guards, no shackles. You have to drive yourself to the gallows. That's what you just witnessed. She knows what she is about to say is outrageous. And she's like, I really have to say this? Yeah, you really got to say this. But this will be the end of me. It'll be the end of you if you don't. And so you saw her sit there and struggle to get out the Dow. The Dow is over $50,000. Or was she trying to say dollars, or was she stuttering back to Dow again? Did she really mean to say $50,000, or was she stumbling? 50,000 Dow, 50,000. She's just skipping like a bad record on a record player, just skipping. About Jeffrey Epstein. How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. And my mind goes to all the black people who have been murdered with impunity in this country. And if you want to know what the conversations sound like behind closed doors, if you want to know the stuff that Bill Clinton and George W. Bush and Barack Obama were saying, Trump at least is honest enough to say it out in public. These are the kinds of things that Barack Obama would have told us behind closed doors in response. Hey, what about Sean Bell? What about Trayvon Martin? What about Philando Castile? Well, I mean, that's definitely unfortunate there, but in reality, then, we're pulling out of Iraq and, we're doing something for scholarships. We got some healthcare legislation passed there. So, we really don't want to distract from the good things we've gotten done. I wouldn't be so quick just to take attention off the good things we've done here. So, if we lose that momentum, this is the state of the government now. It doesn't matter which party is in there. This is the current state of it.
We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
There was a comedy film, I think it was, titled Legally Blonde. Not Legally Blind, but Legally Blonde. What you all just heard was heinous. This was heinous. This was egregious. This was monstrous. And it shows you why Jeffrey Epstein was walking around as long as he did with as many folk as he did, because they are all birds of a feather. Now, we have attempted to warn people now for over a century that if you allow this disease to metastasize, one day it's going to come for you. Well, that day is here now. In front of the world, they're letting you know, yeah, white women, you ain't got no rights. We will tell you to your face that we need to quit talking about what's happening to you, and it'll be a white woman that they send to do the dirty work. See, they cut their teeth on it with black folk, and you sat there and laughed and giggled. They cut their teeth on using these tactics with us. But just understand, when the day comes that they come for you, it'll be another white woman that they send to do it. She will be blonde-haired, she will be blue-eyed, she will be screechy-voiced, and she will sit there with other white women behind her. Damn! And she will defiantly tell the world that we need to quit talking about what happened to you. As a matter of fact, the issue is settled, and we really need to grow up and start talking about the stocks and your 401k, and gas prices have come down 10 cents. And this is what it feels like when you can feel, quote unquote, justice slipping through your fingers. When you allowed them to let Carolyn Bryant keep walking this earth with impunity, you did not demand swift and severe justice for her. And now here you are with the government telling you we got bigger fish to fry, and this is really a minor issue we need to let go of here. This is just a distraction. You see, it's at points like this that you start saying you don't feel like an American. Sound familiar? It's at points like this you start saying that you don't feel like an American. It's at points like this that you start saying that you don't feel like you're part of the country. Isn't that interesting? The Capitol Hill police officer who got injured on January 6th. Yeah, everybody puts us down for saying stuff like that until it happens to them, and then all of a sudden they start talking like us. All of a sudden we're not just those, well, they're just nigger radicals. They're just always displeased. That's the problem right there is, that those genetics. As soon as it happens to them, I'll be damned. They're yelling it louder than us. Oh, so it wasn't about justice the whole time. You saw what was happening to us was injustice the entire time. You saw it then. If you can spin on a dime when it happens to you, then you saw that that was injustice when it happened to us. And everyone supports injustice happening to us. It's only when injustice sinks its fangs into them that now they want to start crying foul. If you had defanged injustice when you saw it attacking us, it never would have gotten to a point of biting you. If you had stopped injustice at the beginning, it never would have made it this far to come after you. It's come after you because you empowered it to come after us, and you told yourself it would never come after you. And in your lifetimes, you've watched, and then you realize, damn, it's been there the whole time. Folks, we're looking at Jeffrey Epstein's file today, and the truth of the matter is they can't really conclusively tell you at what point he became this international power broker. They don't know. We know now that Jeffrey Epstein at least goes back to Iran-Contra. We know it at least goes back that far, at least. Just like Bernie Madoff, we're not really sure when he went from being legit in the stock market to being a scam, because, man, it goes back so far, so we're not really sure when it switched over and flipped over. What I'm saying is that, do you realize how long he's been traveling around and how long he's known these people? He didn't just meet them in the last 10 years. He's known all these folks now for decades. How long has he been running your girls? How long has he been doing that? Do you even know? Can you even go back that far? And the truth of the matter is, you better hope that he's dead. People, do you understand that if you are the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, do you understand that the best outcome for you right now, the best one, is that Jeffrey Epstein is dead? You don't want to open up the nightmare scenario that Jeffrey Epstein may still be alive. What? Can you imagine if you're one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims and you found out conclusive, absolutely comprehensive proof that the government snuck him out of that prison and he is still alive out there somewhere, and that the government is protecting him to this very day? How would you feel about your country then? My Miss American Pie. How would you feel then if you could be given incontrovertible evidence that, oh yeah, Jeffrey's still alive. Yeah, we snuck him out of the prison, and we're going to make sure he cools his heels. We can't have nothing happening to him. Yeah. We know what he did with you and everything, but we can't have it. We can't have nothing happening to him. He's too valuable of an asset. So, yeah. The best case scenario is that he's dead. The worst case scenario is he's alive, because if he is, you know he's being protected. And that they're going to make sure he stays protected. And what's happened to you is simply the cost of doing business. And were you ready for that? Were you ready for a place that gives promotions to people who victimize you? Because we've been living with that now for centuries. We've been living with them giving pay raises and upgrades and promotions and bonuses to folks who've been victimizing us all over the place. We've been living with that the whole time. People who get to victimize you with impunity. Understand something. People victimizing you with impunity means simply one thing. You have no rights. You have no rights. That's where it's at now, is you have no rights. Well, everyone was perfectly fine dismissing that where we were concerned, that you have no rights. It is only now that, as we said, the re-election of Donald Trump is going to be spreading it around to everybody. Very good then. If we, the foundation, if we, the freedmen, if we, the descendants of the American slaves, if we do not have any rights, then damn it, nobody has any. If you will not protect ours, then you will protect none. If we have to walk the streets and witness that we have no rights, then everyone else must walk the streets and witness that they have no rights. If we have no rights that the government, the white man, the government is obligated to honor and acknowledge, then no one has any rights that the government is required to acknowledge. No one. If we cannot all be equally comfortable, then we will all be equally uncomfortable. And I have to remind you of the words of the late, great Richard Pryor, when he did his famous stand-up routine and he was talking about when black folk were on drugs, white folk drove by and said, "Look at that. Isn't that ridiculous? Isn't that terrible? Just look at that. Filthy." They got home and caught their kids doing drugs in the basement. Oh my God, it's an epidemic. And let me explain something to y'all. What does that tell you? Richard Pryor did that bit back in the 80s. I know, I was a child watching it when he did it. Don't judge us. But I was a child back in the 80s watching him when he did that bit. What was he saying when he said it's an epidemic? Oh, then in other words, it's a health crisis. He was talking about it in terms of a health crisis back in the 80s because they understood this. This wasn't calling drugs a health crisis isn't something that just popped off in the last 10 years, people. This goes all the way back to the 80s. There were black folk then saying, "Hey, wait a minute, isn't this a health crisis?" And the white establishment said, "Hell no, nigga, it's a crime. Get your ass in the cell. As a matter of fact, let's round up the whole damn block." We're going to grab everybody, dealers and users alike. Everybody here is going to be a clean sweep. And that's when you realize that this was just a tool for them to execute a war against you. But they couldn't have done that if the entire society had not co-signed it to go along with it. That's the point. So when they were doing drugs, it was a health crisis. And they're used to that double standard being used where they get the loophole out all the time. It's like, okay, let's go ahead and sew up this loophole right quick. And Now they're sitting up here and we can take to the streets and we can talk and we can rabble and whatnot, but you better be careful because you might be next in line to get it. The YouTuber Taylor Lorenz, she put out a video earlier this week talking about how the right is declaring war on white women. Sound familiar? What? Y'all take a look at your timelines. You're starting to notice that, by the way, a whole bunch of folks now, after a certain YouTuber, who shall remain anonymous, after a certain YouTuber been talking about it now for a decade and then put it in its proper context over the course of the last 2 years, now all of a sudden, you're starting to see more and more people in the media, on YouTube and stuff, say that sentence out loud. That, by the way, have you noticed they're targeting specifically white women? They've even given them their own acronym, AWFULs. Damn! They've even given them their own acronym. Affluent white female urban liberals. They even gave them their own acronym, but white women would be foolish to believe that that L at the end of awfuls matters. This is not about being liberals. This is about all you females need to be in your damn place. And you might be able to kiss ass for a little bit, but eventually the guillotine will come for you. Because the white men want to be the vanguard of setting the national agenda, and they do not want the women in the way because they do not trust the women. No matter how solid they might seem, putting you in the position of power gives you the ability to start flipping the script. So we ain't trying to have it. If they do, they just send out a total brainless bimbo like Bondi. Bondi the brainless bimbo. However, for the rest of you, yeah, don't start getting ideas you gonna run anything. Not going to have that. Not gonna have that. So a lot of people now are sitting up looking around and realize, now be damned, you're not on the team, you're on the menu. And there are not enough of you who can cozy up to Trump to keep yourselves safe. As a matter of fact, people think Pam Bondi gonna be out of here in a little bit. We'll see how that goes. But as it stands right now, they understand it ain't safe. It ain't safe. When you can watch white people get gunned down with impunity in the streets, and then you see white men online laughing and mocking it. There are no black people mocking the death of Renee Good. There were no black people mocking what happened with that Black Hawk helicopter in D.C. when it hit that jetted Reagan Airport. By the way, folks, did you all see that the NTSB has released a preliminary report about that? They even have some online video, or should I say animation, that shows how the events unfolded. Did you notice that the white males who were talking all that garbage a year ago, you notice they're not saying anything about that report now? Did you notice it? Because what they're showing is that the instrumentation that the Black Hawk was using, that they were going under visual flight rules, and that the instrumentation that they were using, basically one of the sensors that they use can be off by 100 feet. Yes, the white woman was in training. However, the pilots with her and stuff, they were the ones giving instructions. So you see, she wasn't just off on some side mission. They were using a certain type of, I'm not going to bore you to death with it, but there was a certain set of sensors on the Black Hawk that they were using, which are not the preferred ones. And they can actually, the distance from the ground, they can actually be off by 100 feet, maybe more. And in this case, they were, and they also showed what it looked like, what it would have looked like to the Black Hawk and to the jet, by the way, that was coming in. that the jet would not have seen the Black Hawk. It wouldn't have seen the lights on the Black Hawk. It wouldn't have seen it. Because the jet's coming down, so the angle is coming down, all the lights in DC, that's what it would have seen. It wouldn't have seen the lights on the altimeter, but it wouldn't have seen the lights on the Black Hawk because the lights in DC behind it, the Black Hawk would have been hidden. It would just be another set of lights. And when you saw it, you realized they're doomed. Because the margin of error is so slim. They're doomed. So the Black Hawk is using a sensor mounting that doesn't really accurately reflect the distance from the ground, so they were much further up than they thought they were. And also the radios, the crosstalk on the radios, it now appears that the Black Hawk might not have heard when they were told to give visual confirmation and to wait for the jet to pass because there's so much traffic on the radios. Did you notice the white supremacist males have not come back to give you all an update about that report and to tell you about that? Did you notice that? However, they'll still demonize the white female pilot. You can't, there are no black people that you can blame for the radio setup for air traffic control. There are no black people that you can blame for the setup of the sensors on that Black Hawk or for Boeing with the MCAS system. There's no black folk you can blame for that. So of course they're going to say outrageously crazy things and then never give you a chance to come back and check in with them. Like Tucker Carlson talking about it was black women's fault that the doors came off the Boeing airplanes because, well, Boeing wanted to promote more females for diversity, and meanwhile you find out it was a contractor who put the doors on. And just like Jeffrey Epstein, why nobody wants to confirm who the contractor was anymore, would you like to place your bets on if the contractor for Boeing, or at that point Spirit Air, white male maybe? What? Damn! And notice Tucker Carlson has not come back with an update on that either. Isn't this all interestingly ominous and curious? That they're not coming back and giving you any updates. They said all that garbage when it happened, and none of them have come back to do a review of it. Are any of them going to come back and admit that they were just vicious, ridiculous, subhuman white supremacist liars? And I think there are a lot of white women now who are realizing, so this is what happens when you allow these white supremacist males to control things. They will victimize you, they will brutalize you, and then they will go into the media and tell you that up is down and down is up and that nothing happened to you. They will sit there in front of the national government and say with a full chest that nothing happened to you. That you are at fault. You're standing still. They're going to claim that you assaulted them standing still. They're going to claim that you assaulted, they got you on video standing still, got you on video face down on the ground, and they're saying that you were assaulting them while you were laying face down on the ground. There are a lot of white women who are starting to realize this is a particularly dangerous situation to be in, because you're not on the right side of things. You're not on the right side. And now you can have a room of you here. And by the way, Jeffrey Epstein demanded, bring me all your little white girls. I don't want any black ones. You know what that means? That means the Epstein files ain't got no black folk to expose. What? See, there's where the media usually likes to go. The media usually likes to go to, well, if there's one black person in there, y'all, if Bill Cosby were in the Epstein files, I don't know, he might have gotten mentioned, but I'm pretty sure he hadn't been to Epstein Island. But if Bill Cosby, understand something, didn't no black folk do nothing, because if we did, they would give you every single email, every text, every document, every receipt. The whole media would be talking about that one black person. If there were any black people who did anything in the Epstein files, they would have released all those documents and the media would be focusing only on them. The media would be telling you we ain't got nothing on nobody else, but Jay-Z went to the island. And while Jay-Z was there, he was writing lyrics for Beyonce's album. And look, this is Jay-Z and Jeffrey Epstein in the studio cooking up some new rhymes.
Nigga, what?
So we didn't do anything, because if we had been anywhere around this, if they could pin anything, that black person would be the only one they'd be talking about. So they're really in a conundrum here, because they really need to be able to pin this on somebody here to get the heat off them. There are no black folk available. This is an all-white production. So now there are no comfortable options. You see, they understand something that the general population does not, even though you might not think of it this way. This is putting white society on trial in their eyes. This is a bad look, because there are no black people to shift attention to. In the presidential campaign, they can talk about the black candidate or the black vote. In Hollywood, you can talk about the black co-star. In this situation right here is one of the biggest crimes of the century, and there's no black person of any significance that you can roll up into this. No one. All you can really do is focus on the white assailants. Do you think this, just like with the war on drugs, that's not what America does? America does not mass incarcerate white people. It doesn't mass indict white people. It doesn't mass impugn white people, and there's nothing but white folk to go after here. So you see what the real problem here is with that? And they start denying it, and the victims don't give a damn about that. They're like, hey, y'all need to do something about these dudes over here. And they sent one of your own to deny you. They sent one of your own to deny you. Take this as a lesson. Going forward, you might feel a little awkward. You need to start bucking and going against the grain. When you see them putting us in the crosshairs and talking about how violating our rights, oh, well, that's just the way it go down, and they start talking to you about racial solidarity, I recommend that you remember that they did not have any racial solidarity with you. When Jeffrey Epstein and all the men around him needed to be indicted, there was no racial solidarity with you. Your whiteness did not protect you. So next time you see something happening to us over here in black society, I recommend that you, before you let that little racial solidarity thing get a hold of you, I recommend that you let justice, solidarity, get a hold of you first. Because Pam Bondi sat right there in front of the United States Congress and did not have your back for anything. She was there to protect the people in them files. And she did it proudly. Proudly. However, you might disagree. Therefore, we're going to go ahead and open up the link to the Zoom here in the chat room here so you all can give us a call up here tonight. You all can go ahead and give us a call about that. We'll be glad to go ahead and discuss that with you, if you please. In the meantime, I want to thank everyone, and I do mean everybody who has contributed toward tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out here to Descendant Layer 8385. Thank you very much, ma'am. I'm going to bring comfort to the afflicted and affliction to the comfortable. Shout out here to Rita Chapman. Thank you very much for your support here tonight. Darkside Blue, Paula, Stone D Ministries, my man, Mr. Richburg. Thank you very much for your support here, brother. Andrew L., Mark B., Najee, and everybody else here. Thank you very much for your support, Rosalind. We're going to go ahead and take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. Folks, when we come back, it is Black History Month. It is Black History Month, and there are a few things that I want to cover here tonight. So I want to go ahead and run through those real fast when I get to it there. We're going to take care of that right after this commercial, non-commercial break. This is the Black Channel.
Be the teacher, knowledge on the block. Got the kids learning, minds open like a lock. Books and skills from the east to the west. Bringing education, yeah, we're simply the best. Classes on fire, brains burning with desire. Innovation driving like a tire through the mire. Math, science, history, we got the whole range. Kids hitting new heights, teachers making a change. Used to be the teacher, stacking up the grades. Future bright shining, no need for no shades. Got the youth thriving, moving up the ladder. Smart and sharp, brains growing fatter. Lessons so lit, yeah, they stay in a blaze. Every mind sharp like a sword in the haze. Mr. B in the house breaking knowledge chains. Education kingpin, we repping the gains. Used to be the teacher.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. And there are a few other things I want to jump into and cover here as well. Folks, Pam Bondi is not the only one who has a whole bunch of idiocy and foolishness going on. She's not the only one. MAGA is just, it is a madhouse. It is insanity personified. And case in point is your man, Byron Donalds. Oh, Byron Donalds, y'all. I mean, I'm going to let you see it for yourselves. And if you're not subscribers of mine on Twitter, if you're not following me on Twitter, you need to be, because you're missing a lot here. This is Byron Donalds. Hang on to your hats, people, here, because this is Byron Donalds from yesterday. Talking about Frederick Douglass.
As we dedicate this gallery to a man who truly understood the weight of words. Today in the U.S. Capitol, we pay a debt of gratitude to a quintessential American hero. When we talk about Frederick Douglass, we are talking about a man who possessed a profound and unshakable faith in America's founding. In his era, where many were tempted to walk away from our system, Douglass did the opposite. He leaned in. He studied the Constitution. He famously cited it as a glorious liberty document. He understood that the problem wasn't our founding principles. It was a failure to apply them. Douglass believed that every individual is the master of their own soul and labor. His life story from the slavery fields, to the world stage is one of the greatest narratives of perseverance in U.S. history. He didn't see himself as an outsider looking in. He saw himself as a rightful heir to the promises of 1776.
Yes, sir. You have entered the coon zone, is what you have entered. Now, I know what Byron Donalds is doing here, folks. I just want to be very, very clear. Why would Byron Donalds be talking about Frederick Douglass? And it's because he thinks he has cover. You know why? Because Frederick Douglass was married to a white woman. So Byron Donalds thinks he has found cover. He thinks he's found somebody he can talk about who resonates with real, actual black folk. He thinks he's found it, and he says, wait a minute now. I got Frederick Douglass from 160 years ago. And if you try to come for him, if you try to come for Byron, wait a minute now. Frederick Douglass was married to a white woman too.
Nigga, what?
So, I just want you all to know what the angle is on that. I just want you all to know what the angle is. So, just in case you're trying to figure out, okay, what does he think he's doing here? What does he think is happening? Just letting you know that that's what he thinks is going to go on. He thinks that's going to work. So, yeah, and down there in Florida, you know how things go. It's wacky. It's weird. They do a bunch of stuff out there. And this was the best they could do. This was the best they could find. He's the designated hostage, basically. He's the designated hostage, basically, and this is what they came for here. So, yeah, old Byron says, we now remember Frederick Douglass. Byron Donalds, who has done absolutely nothing. By the way, he ain't had anything to say. Donald Trump is out there showing black folk as monkeys and apes, and Byron Donalds didn't say. Tim Scott said something. Byron Donalds was like, I don't know if I'm trying to be governor right here, you know. I mean, Obama does kind of look like, Magilla Gorilla. Damn! So it's going to be some of that. It's going to be some of that. Now, folks, I know it's Valentine's Day, and I know I should be more mature than this. I know I should. But it's hard. Folks, I know I should be more mature than this, but it is hard. Do you all remember a couple years back when I had to chase Roland the Bowling Ball Martin around Louisiana? I was trying to pull up on him. Roland was putting miles on anything with wheels to stay away. I don't know where in the Superdome he was hiding. But if y'all remember when I was trying to keep up with old Roland Martin, well, folks, Roland was going through some things. And I ain't beating up on you here, Roland, but I would be remiss if I didn't talk about this. Roland's been going through some things, y'all, unbeknownst to me. I had no idea that this was going on. I think most of you had no idea this was going on. And earlier this week, Roland wanted to drop the receipts on this. Roland has not been very defensive of black women in this regard here either, folks, by the way. Roland, you're not being very defensive here, brother. You're not doing right. You're not doing right now. You need to make sure you don't sit up here and put folks out there bad. Because Roland made some financial judgments. I don't know if they were, I don't know what the impetus was. I don't know why he was doing it. He did that. But if you'll direct your eyes to the screen, this right here happened. So as y'all see, it says, this is default judgment against Dallas resident Windsor Barbie. What? I mean, Roland put her name, her face, and every damn thing else out there. Roland is riding dirty. Sterling luxury coaches for $555,200.
Damn!
And $13,020 in attorney's fees. She took $174,100 from the Black Star Network for a sprinter in December 2022 and has provided nothing but excuses and lies to me ever since. We filed the suit in late 2025. So clearly the statute of limitations didn't apply here. But anyway, he got a default judgment, which means she didn't even bother to show up. He put her name out there. He put her face out there. I mean, and she looked rough, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. She does look rough. It's just face like a pancake. But then again, I'm surprised Roland didn't try to eat it. What? So in any case here, but yeah, y'all, you remember the sprinter debacle? Yeah, do y'all remember the sprinter debacle? So it's like, oh, okay. Now, here's what I don't get. Roland, she took $174,000, but you got a judgment for over $500,000? All right, y'all. For a sprinter. People, for a sprinter. I know it's a Mercedes, but for a sprinter, Roland? Really? Really? And he had actually done some videos and stuff like that. Let me see here. Because he had actually done some videos that he had put about it. He was doing all kinds of explaining, folks. Roland is not mad, but big mad. Oh, he was big mad about it. Well, you see, y'all, here's the issue for me. If you want to know what my issue with this is, here's the issue for me. The issue for me is that if you go on Auto Trader, yeah, I know Roland ain't gonna like this part right here, but Roland, if you go on Auto Trader, just for spits and giggles, I'm going to give you all a moment here to look it up for yourselves if you want to. If you go on Auto Trader and go look up the prices for a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van, y'all understand that those prices start at like $50,000, right?
Nigga, what?
I mean, some of y'all are thinking, Jason, and you sound like Roland now, Jason, some of them be decked out like that. Do you think Roland Martin is doing that? Furthermore, why would he? I mean, we talking about insane, people. Insane. I mean, how in the world did Roland end up needing to get, fully decked out? I don't get it. $500,000. Maybe I need to go through the paperwork a little bit better here and just Roland. How do we get $500,000 for a Sprinter van? How did that come up? I don't understand. Do you got some information? Can you feel me? Yeah, folks, Roland's like, I need $500,000. So I'm confused. I am totally and thoroughly confused, y'all. $500,000 behind a Sprinter van. Roland filed that in court and apparently got a judgment for it. $500,000 for a Sprinter van. Sprinter. And when you go take a look at them, it's like, wait a minute, how did this happen? What trim level is this? I'm trying to figure out what is the trim level that he was looking at that got him, that made that happen. What trim level was that? Because according to him, I'll be damned. He's like, I got $500,000. Okay, really? Let me go ahead and throw one up on your screen here if I can. I know Roland is mad as hell right now. Look here, Jason Black. You need to mind your own damn business. I can hear Roland right now, y'all. That little Louisiana country nigga need to mind his own business. Don't worry about Ben's van. You quit pocket watching me. So, all right. All right. I'm trying to take it easy on Roland here. He's not going to let me do it. So, let me go ahead and throw one up on the screen for you here, folks. As you can see right here, here's a Sprinter van. And in case you were wondering if it fits the bill, no, this is one of them Sprinter vans. $87,000 now. $87,000. I mean, it's wide open. You can see the seats back here. I mean, yeah, folks, it's ready to go. Roland said, oh no, 87 ain't gonna make it. I need about 5 times that much. So I need to get some information. He better hope old girl don't file an appeal, because it's like, wait a minute, Roland, $500,000 for a Sprinter van. $500,000 for a Sprinter van. Well, Roland said I got to get it. So, in any case, you all, that's what happened. So, Roland been going through it. Oh, tell me why he put a song up here from T.I. Let him know.
Nigga, please.
Could you all imagine anything gangster happening in Roland's house except fighting over a croissant? That's about as gangster as it's going to get for them over there. So, yeah, man, Roland been going through it, y'all. He been going through some things. It's rough over there for him right now. He's still fighting with that Sprinter situation. He had to go get another van. So it's been a hell of a year right there. So if he's gonna need to get some extra funds. This chick done took his money and ain't showed up with nothing. Oh, y'all, she ran off on the plug. Damn! Brothers and sisters, she ran off on the plug. Ain't that a blip? She saw Roland was a mark and she ran off on the plug. I mean, first of all, $174,000. Which Sprinter was he looking at that's $174,000? Why does he need that? What is Roland doing that requires $174,000 for the Sprinter van itself? So I'm like, okay. All right. Okay. Like, I need to review these stats. I need to review this, because according to Roland Martin, he needs 175 G's for a Sprinter van. So I'm like, okay. He got together with some bootleg delivery service. Man, look here. She grabbed the money and took off on the plug, y'all. She saw that $175,000 and said, nigga, deuces, I'm off to Epstein Island. Damn! Roland just sitting over here. He's calling. He's going back and forth. He's getting voicemail. He flew out to where she was. He went to the airport talking about, they said they were 30 minutes outside the airport. They were 90 minutes away. And man, Roland tried to pull up in person. They said, get your little short round ass up out of here. And he went to court and whatnot. Dude, the money gone. You should have sent Debo, because the money gone. I mean, it's been how many years now? He said 2022. It's been 3 years. I'm like, oh, bro, that's a wrap right there. She done spent all your money at the casino, Olive Garden, Golden Corral buffet. She doesn't have anything now but a bunch of old raggedy YSL bags. What? A bunch of raggedy old Gucci bags and YSL bags. That's all she got sitting over there now, partner. That's a wrap. I suggest you start working and see if you can get some of that money back. And that's gone, partner. She up out of here with that. $174,000. I guarantee you it's some old nigga with a beard. Like she went to the beach with him. They sitting there ain't even thinking about Roland. Ain't that something? Oh, can y'all imagine if Roland had pulled up on her in person trying to get gangster? Now you look here. You look here, Miss Barbie. I don't be playing around with folks now. You understand? Don't be listening to that Jason Black on that YouTube thing and get yourself messed up out here. I mean, can y'all imagine Roland trying to get gangster on anybody at all? And he roll up and try to do like the new black media and get his little short donut ass kicked in. So Roland, don't do that one. Oh, that'll be ugly. And she'll be the one doing it because she look like she could outbox you.
Auntie, chill.
Yeah, y'all. Roland, don't try to get gangster with her. She look like she can take a punch. She look like she got a rock jaw. Yeah, Windsor here. Windsor Barbie, yeah, she look like she got a rock jaw. She look like one of them hoes you would see on bare knuckle boxing. Damn. I can see her on bare knuckle them backyard fights that Kimbo Slice used to have. I can see her. I can see her doing that. Them fights y'all see on Facebook, I can see her doing that. Y'all know the big chick who be beating the nigga, holding the nigga with one arm and beating his ass with the other hand. Yeah, oh, you right here. Yeah. Yeah, I can see her doing it. I can see her doing it. And slinging her around ain't really gonna work. That's a lot you got to pull on here. So you try to yank on her, you done messed up your damn center of gravity. You been fell over. So this gonna be a rough one right here, man. Y'all know when them heavy chicks come around, it's gonna be a rough one. You're like a bus driver in Minneapolis, you know. Just what can you do? What can you do? So it's like in her case, you try to roll up on her and she get up off the damn bar stool. What you gonna do, nigga? Damn. She sound like the kind of chick to tell you, yeah, I took your damn money. What you gonna do? I want my money. I ain't got your damn money. What you gonna do, little short nigga? Damn! So yeah, y'all, it's rough, man. It's rough. Somebody in the chat room said Bill Ford tough. Damn! Yeah, y'all can see her. She been through some things. People, let me give you some advice. Do not purchase goods or services on a contract from somebody that looks like this. She looked like she done did a bid at Rahway. She looked like she just got out the halfway house. I mean, she looks like somebody who's going to get profiled on one of these scammer programs on YouTube. So I'm giving you all a bit of advice. If you meet a chick look like this, we ain't doing no business. No, you're not cute enough. You look shady as hell. Baby, you look like you just did a bid. She looked like she just got out of San Quentin. No, I can't do anything. And then she got the Al Capone gangster stripes on. No, I can't do anything with you, believe. So Roland saw this and said, let me give you $174,000. Roland looked at the exact same female that we're all looking at here, and he said, you know what? The only thing your life is missing is 175 G's. I'd have looked at her and been like y'all know them scenes in the movies when Denzel Washington is looking at somebody like, is you crazy? That'll be me right there. Like, okay, I'm just staring. You remember the scene from American Gangster when Denzel Washington is Frank Lucas? He comes out to church and he sees all the cops out there and he just standing there at the top of the stairs looking around. That'd be me sitting there with her talking about, and all I need is $174,000. I'm just sitting there, huh? So you do, huh? That would be me. Roland Martin, where do I sign? Jason Black, yeah, I don't know if we can do this here. Let me see if I can get a better deal up the street. He's sitting up here doing business with somebody running a damn, she's running some, I don't know what the hell this is, car service or Sterling Luxury Coaches. Somebody running a damn business out of Bando House or something there. Roland ain't checked the damn thing. No references. Oh, here's $174,000. Okay. She didn't even show up for court. Do you think, what do you plan on recovering? And she too big to get away fast. Yeah, Roland, while you worrying about the new black media, nigga, you need to worry about the new car service.
And deal with it, nigga.
Yeah, you worrying about us. You got bigger issues, dude. I'll be damned. I would have signed off if somebody got $175,000 of my money in it. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not really Roland's money, so he done collected from the audience. And yeah, just remember, y'all, this is how he's, the Venmo money, he's like, just remember, contribute. We need you to support the old dead black media. I'm like, okay, and he done took $175,000 of the people's money. He was trying to buy a new Sprinter van. That's up in smoke. Yes, sir, that's up in smoke. So now he's going to have to double beg for 2026 because he got to make up for this loss. He got to make up for this loss right here. So, yeah, Roland tried to pay for some upgrades. It went bad quick. He went with the first person with a business card. She calls herself Luxury Coaches. He said, how could you go bad? She calls herself Luxury. Okay. And she done run off on the plug already. So, yeah, y'all, Roland's having a rough ass year. And the year just got started. So, yeah, he's worrying about the new black media. He needs to worry about this debt collection service is what he needs to worry about. Because so far as I can tell, Roland, you almost $200,000 in. You need to worry less about what we doing and a whole lot more about this right here, brother. This is where your focus needs to be. You need to hire a private eye to go track her big ass down. Don't worry about what we saying to Kamala Harris. You need to be worrying about getting a private investigator to figure out where her and that dude she blew your money with is at. Cause there's some old fella out there looking like Willie James, some old dude. There's some fella out there right now looking like Bobby Brown. I'm talking about Bobby Brown 2026, not Bobby Brown 1986. There's a fella out there today looking like Bobby Brown. And him and her are sitting on the damn bed at some resort out there in California with your damn money. Playing some trap music. Y'all know them big girls love to be dancing and twerking. So Roland, she is sitting there at the damn resort twerking with some old Bobby Brown looking nigga with all that money you got. That's where she at right now. That nigga thought I was bringing him a Mercedes, and we ain't doing none of that right there. Pass me the Hennessy. So that was her with the deep voice. It was the dude with the high voice. That's her right there. Yeah. I ain't bringing that nigga no damn van. What the hell are you talking about right here? We done hit a lick. Pass the Cavazier. All right. And the other thing here is, at least Roland, it's good that you showed her face. It's good that you put her face out there, because how the hell could you mistake this? What? People, this is a face that stands out right here. I mean, this heifer looks like the Gray Hulk.
Nigga, what?
This heifer right here looks like the Gray Hulk. So there's no way you could see her and miss this. You can't mistake that face right there. It's like, oh, officer, I remember. A chill went down my spine. How can you mistake? Can you imagine doing a lineup? All right, we're gonna have a lineup. Can you spot the suspect? How the hell can I miss it? So yeah, bro, Roland. That's why Roland had to sue, because for the rest of us, we gonna come see you. Roland was like, wait a minute now. He was trying to figure out if he could handle it. Roland come up on her talking crazy and might mess around and get stomped out like Beetle Bailey by the Sarge. So, Roland, you did the right thing. Just carry your ass home and go call a lawyer. Don't try to handle this. Don't try to handle this on your own. Don't do it. Cause she looked ready. Do y'all see the neck on her? Oh, do y'all see the neck on that heifer? She looked like Lex Luger. Do y'all see that neck? Oh, Roland, you was in trouble, bruh. Yeah, call your lawyer. Yeah, she didn't want to pay you. Just don't trash talk, Roland. Just turn around, leave quick, call your lawyer, because I'm looking at that neck, nigga. You ain't ready. Oh, you ain't ready. That neck means she can throw some bolos. She gonna start swinging them arms. She gonna put her traps into it. Yeah, old Roland would have got messed up all over the damn place. Yes, Roland, just get up, leave, and go call your lawyer, brother, because ain't nothing you can do with her right here. You can't do a damn thing with this. Because I've seen your staff. What? I've seen the folk at your studio, Roland. Oh, no, it's like a senior citizens club. She would have messed up all of y'all, so... Fortunately for Roland, he didn't try to jump his ass out there. Now we got one more thing I want to show you here, folks. One more thing from the foreign files, because every once in a while we have an opportunity to talk about these things. And I'm just saying, next time they try to tell you about a black damn neighborhood or something, next time they try to tell y'all about that, folks, you want to know about reckless? You want to know about taking your life in your hands? A Turkish flight bound for the UK was diverted after a violent altercation erupted between passengers. The shocking footage shows multiple passengers involved in physical. You ain't no black folk on a flight from Turkey except Brother Isaiah. What? Well, y'all will be glad to know Brother Elijah was not on this flight. So usually y'all know it. Anything coming from Turkey is usually Brother Elijah gonna be on that plane, but Brother Elijah, ain't no black folk coming back from Turkey except Brother Elijah, and he wasn't on the plane this time. So, y'all, this is what they were doing. Do y'all see that chick? Oh, she is right. Now, the dude has fella in a headlock, and she's like, good, hold his ass still. That's a ride or die chick right there. She said, good, hold his ass still so I can put these soup bones on him. Hold him right there. Yeah, hold him right there so I can work them ribs over. Hold his ass still right there so I can work them ribs. Just in case you thought the women were civil, I mean, the women are going at it back here, boy. They all over each other. You thought Spirit Airlines was bad. And you thought Spirit Air was bad. Y'all, terror at 30,000 feet. I mean, we talking about terror at 30,000 feet. And this person right here, straight to Instagram. Next time they try to tell you about Spirit Airlines or something, and here he trying to come from the back talking about, wait a minute. Ain't nobody speaking English. Oh, did y'all see this dude back? Look over here in the middle. You're going to see a dude sitting. This fella right here. Do you see this guy right here? He ain't moving. He just, y'all, can y'all shut the hell up and let me land? Can y'all fight after I land? If can y'all shut up and fight after I land was a person. You see this dude right here? He ain't even fooling what y'all doing. I mean, he is unbothered. He's like, look, man, y'all can fight after I get off the plane. I'm just trying to land. He's trying to check somebody on Twitter. Can you believe these folks up on this damn plane acting a fool? Okay, dude, you better be ready to hold that headlock for another hour because, yeah, you're going to have to win the strongman contest here in a minute. Yeah, okay.
Shut up, I don't want that kicking off. Keep hold of him. I've got my son back down there. Keep him down there.
Now, I know she ain't about to sit up here and come all the way from that blonde chick. I know she ain't about to come all the way back up there and start slugging on him. Okay, ma'am, scream as much as you can right there. It's just...
Your mum's gonna be dead proud of this, isn't she, eh?
So glad I missed this flight.
Yo, you wanna be racist again, man?
Hey, brother Elijah, I bet you glad you missed this flight. Now, did y'all see that? Now, she was standing back there the whole damn time. This is delayed aggression. Nobody was bothering her. Nobody was assaulting her. And she was just like, look, crime of opportunity. Let me get him before this plane lands.
Silly boy!
Yo, you wanna be racist again, man?
I know what to say now. Yeah, you're sorry now.
I mean, for real? Okay. Well, I'm so glad that women aren't violent. I'm so glad that's not the case right there. So believe all women is the fairer sex and so on and so forth. I'm so glad that's the... Yeah.
No. Hey.
All right, folks. So like I say, this happened over there. We all just sitting here on the ground. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. The world's gone mad here. World's gone mad here. In any case, folks, we're going to go ahead and jump over here on the Zoom. We'll take a call or two before we wrap things up here tonight. The world's gone insane. Pam Bondi is out of damn mind. I don't know what to tell you. Let me go ahead and check and see here. Let me see if we can get Blanco up here on Zoom for me here right quick. Let me see if we can get Blanco up here. He might have got up and walked away, so I'll give you about 5 seconds to get back over by the phone here, Blanco. Then we got to go. All right, Blanco, what's on your mind?
Hey, Jason, that Joe Fixit Grey Hulk reference was diabolical. Your anime and your comic books are on point. You know what the fuck you're talking about. But the Turkish flight, whatever's going on. Like, my question really for tonight is, what we can't. Okay, I'm going to say something before I ask a question. I'm sorry for taking time. We can't lose sight of the fact that it's not just Jeffrey Epstein. Who taught Jeffrey Epstein? Who taught that guy? Who taught that guy? Who taught that guy? This is a large problem. So then my question is, what does it actually take for the palaces to finally burn?
That's a very good question. I suppose the first question I would ask is, what is your definition of burn?
We put the guillotine up to everyone that was in a room. And, I don't mean to, put anything out there, on the broadcast, but we put a guillotine out to everyone as soon as the midterms happen, and not even about elections and fuck all that. But we tear down these leaders. We put back reparations for everyone, for black people. As you were always talking about the interest and how Professor Black Truth talks about the interest rate rising and whatnot. We finally set everything right. We free the kids, we start over, guillotine everyone, and apparently if you let them go, guillotine for you first, and to make the elites watch you get guillotined so that next they get guillotined. And then we continue. So it's like the palaces have to burn because what? So I guess it's just okay that your grandma got, trafficked as a young kid and so on and so forth.
Pretty much.
Right.
Pretty much.
So what is it finally going to take? Because this is going to go away, as you know. This is going to go away tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be another.
No, it's not going away. No, JFK didn't go away.
Right,
MLK didn't go away. Hell, Kent State hasn't gone away. They handed OJ to the grave. So, no, your definition to go away might need some modification. This isn't going anywhere. especially as long as they sit on it. What you are finding out, what they are experiencing is that something new for them, that stonewalling can be the new normal.
Filibustering is their native tongue.
Yeah, you can have all the hearings you want to here. You can bring them back. They just bring the same old conversations. You're talking about burning the thing down right there. Well, the folks who would need to burn it down, the folks holding the matches are in the house. So you're asking them to burn the house down with themselves in it. That's very unlikely to occur. So with that being the case, yeah, which is what we've been saying the whole damn time. You would need a critical mass of them to decide they're going to do that. And that's going to be a very, very difficult thing to occur. The closest we have ever had to that occurring was when Richard Nixon was removed from the White House. That was the closest we've ever had that occur. But once again, like I say, the only folk who went down, everybody except the man himself. The reason why you're not going to get anything from the JFK files is one simple reason. Some of the people who were involved are still alive. I've talked about that before. That's the only explanation that would make sense, is that some of the principals are still alive. They have to be. So they're not protecting the system. They're protecting themselves because they're still here. Well, now you got a bunch of folk, and it's a whole lot newer than that. They're still here. So, yeah, stonewalling you, they got it down to an art once you started allowing them to do it. But then again, remember, it starts with things like the Black Wall Street. Now, if you will allow them to bomb an entire black neighborhood, literally in the middle of the country, and nobody gets punished for it, and this business as usual, and we are here a century later, peace be upon Mother Viola Fletcher, and you are not demanding justice a century later, you've already allowed them to perfect this as the system. So if we couldn't get it after a century, you damn sure ain't gonna get it after 2 decades. Oh no, you've already shown them the formula to do you like they did us, and they doing it right to you here in real time. And please be aware, what would usually shut these things down is the media. Remember, it was Woodward and Bernstein that got the ball rolling to take down Nixon. Man, you already see the networks ain't going after Jeffrey Epstein. Dude,
right.
Show me where their investigation of this man is. No, none of the networks are investigating him. None. This is being pushed by the internet. CNN is not investigating anything. I've talked about this before. The New York Times, with all their resources, nobody knows where his money is coming from. Now, Blanco, they'd have your damn bank records of the New York Times. They would have been had that. Yet they can't get any of his. So no, the media is in on it. It's not a house you'd have to burn down, Blanco. It's a neighborhood. You have to burn down all. You would have to get the entire neighborhood to spontaneously burn down their own houses. That's
accidents happen all the time. Accidents happen all the time, right? Like, because then it's also controversial with Woodward and Bernstein that they were naval intelligence, that their very first story was that they just so happened to be at the room that happened to have a window that could see directly. That's a whole other conversation. But to that point, exactly. Once you allow for Jamestown, Virginia to exist, once you allow for 1492 Spanish conquistador, colonizing, and once you allow for the Dutch and for all of Africa to be basically rewritten and mapped out, Chad, Niger, these random once you allow that shit, right? Exactly. I don't understand why suddenly you're upset that Pam Bondi is, speaking the way that she is. Aren't you okay with this? Well, no, this is terrible. Well, wasn't this terrible? Oh, no. Well, then that was just imperialism. But right, lives were fucking brutalized. But no. This is when it's a problem.
What you find is that when you refuse to enforce the rules over time, it becomes progressively more difficult to enforce them. And one day you're going to wake up and you can't enforce anything. You can't make anything happen. And you are used to the idea that your white tears change the world. And I mean, well, up until now it did. Up until now. It's just an age-old lesson. The time to stop these things is when you see them doing it to somebody else. When you see that occur, that do not co-sign it, because unless you want to co-sign it for you.
But that assumes that you have principles, though. That when you see,
well, remember, you got a bunch of Trump voters there. I played that for you before. Some farmers. Trump is putting their damn farmers out of business. They talking about, well, do you regret your vote? Well, I mean, not really. The damn repo man is walking off with his tractor. I mean, towing his tractor away, and he's still not sure if he would not vote. He's still sure he would vote the same way again. So I'm like, okay, that's what you're up against right there. So those are the principles. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, folks, you're trying to sit up here and appeal to them and justice this and justice that. And, hey, man, how much suffering are y'all willing to take? And you find out, oh, there's a lot they're willing to take. Well, I know I'm going to lose my house and my tractor and my dog. And I know that's going to happen right here. But, you got to break a few eggs and make an omelet. And this is me. I got to take one for the team. Now, Jeffrey Epstein ain't got to take none for nobody. And everybody else in the Epstein files, they don't have to take anything. But yeah, you're going to take one for the team. That's going to be you. Let's go ahead and jump back over here on Zoom again. Let's see if we can get Always up here on Zoom for me. All right, Always, and what's on your mind?
What's going on, Jason? I just wanted to get your thoughts on this. Do you think it stops at Epstein, or do you think that there's more of this going on and we just aren't aware of it? Because it just can't be him, because, hey, it's not just one pimp, it's a bunch of them. And hey, that's all I got.
Brother, Jeffrey Epstein was not the first. He was not the only. As a matter of fact, I'm not even convinced. Jeffrey Epstein was probably the biggest, but no, he was not the first and he was not the only. As a matter of fact, going back to the Reagan administration, there have actually been a number of schools that specifically were recruiting minors for all kinds of things. You can look into that. As a matter of fact, I may go and find the videos myself here just to remind you all about those stories. They recently did another one about a dude. There was a fellow who was going around basically doing the same thing, just not to that level or magnitude. So they're far from the only ones. Jeffrey Epstein was a contractor. Now, whether he was sent by Israel or cultivated by Israel we're not sure. But the whole thing was Eric Weinstein called him a composite. And Eric Weinstein didn't want to say very much. And sometimes he's a bit of an outlandish character. I will admit that. But I agree with what he said was that when he met Jeffrey Epstein, he said, I'm meaning a composite. This guy's a composite. Well, what does that mean? What I told y'all last week, he's there to be anyone to everyone. His job is to make connections to literally every person he meets. So you just have this gigantic Rolodex. Do y'all realize that there's literally nobody from the last 30 years who has not come into contact with that man? Do you realize the outrageous amount of networking you got to do to make that occur? And politics, academia, music, business, international relations, both domestic and foreign. That means this guy was, the other thing was what they said. When you take a look at Jeffrey Epstein's emails and stuff, he gets back to people damn near immediately. What?
Right.
Now, what does that mean? That means that either he is just online 24/7 or he wasn't alone.
Exactly.
Like, you got a secretary and receptionist, and their job is just to handle this volume of emails you get.
He had 3 assistants.
Well, I'm talking about just to read the emails. I mean, because remember, we got to read emails, do logistics, take care of stuff around where he's at. And plus, he has to go places personally. So to keep all of that organized, brother, you would need a squad of people. I don't know if 3 people is enough for the number of folk, 6-8 million files to handle that volume. You're basically a government office unto yourself.
Right.
So that was his job, was to be this contractor to go anywhere, everywhere. He will do anything you need. These drugs got to be moved. I got it. These kids got to be raped. Can take care of it. We need to sleep with women. We need to sleep with men. We need to sleep with old ladies, old men, whatever you need. What's his name? Wexler. We'll sleep with old men. Little kids, nothing's off the table. We get the job done was the slogan at Jeffrey Epstein Enterprises. We get the job done. Do you realize how valuable it is? Then you find out that Ghislaine Maxwell's father was the same way. Right. And that's why I say that I think that's how she met Epstein. He wanted into that line of work. He wanted into that. And he got together with her and she's like, okay, here's how to keep yourself from getting killed. Because this is what me and my father did. So this is the family business. And Epstein's like, let me help you take that to the next level because I can open doors you can't because you're a cute female. But the men we trying to go after, they don't like women. Well, they like either men or little girls, but they don't like grown women. So you ain't going to make it.
Because my thing, Jason, is like, say for instance, you got a person that's on heroin and it's a habit. It's just like with how they look at these children. They're gonna find somebody else to fill the void, you know. So that's my thinking. Like he's not the only one. He's just the only one that has got caught.
No, he was the biggest. I believe Jeffrey Epstein was the biggest. He was the one running the longest, which means it was just a matter of time before everything blew out about it. But no, brother, he is not the only one. There's a number of schools, tutoring, mentoring. There's a couple of guys who've come up in the news more recently. I'll see if I can look back and find that for you all. But no. Jeffries was just the biggest and the oldest. He is not the only one. And that should scare people because the rest of them are still out there. Well and nobody's prosecuting them.
The CEO of Chuck E. Cheese, he got caught in it. I think he has to resign this week. Also, the people that take the pictures at the schools, they got caught in it. It's a web.
Yeah, I think that Jeffrey Epstein was like the Amazon of it. He just made things so easy for people. If you met him, everybody just like, he's a guy who knows a lot of people. He's a guy who knows everybody. And that's not what got him in. The thing is, he can get you whatever you want. You want access to this rapper over here. You want this movie producer over here. You want to talk to this. You take a look at his emails. Everybody's calling him, hey, I want to talk to Vladimir Putin. I want to talk to the Prime Minister of France. I want to talk to the president. I can't get you in this week, but I'm going to talk to some folks, see if we can get you in next week. So you see from the emails, that's what he was doing. So at that point right there, he has instant legitimacy. So how can you question anything? So when he comes to you and say, I need XYZ, you got to drop it off. Otherwise, you can't get to the president. This guy is the plug. So when you got that kind of level at international levels everywhere, he can get you to every president. Oh, you want to talk to the King of England? Hey, I just spent the weekend with Prince Andrew. So I can get you in. Where you want to go, I can get you in. And he ain't bull jiving. Brother, at that point right there, folks are just like, okay, what do I got to do? Because that's the part that's missing. I see a bunch of emails asking for things, but you don't see the emails telling them, now here's what you're going to do. I suspect that part happened in person. Here's what you're going to do. And it's only when they didn't do it that all of a sudden you get like a Bill Gates email talking about, okay, we can do this the easy way or we can do this the real easy way.
Down or lay down.
Yeah. And so I think it's that. So the whole thing about him was, I think that was just what he was there for. He was there for decades. He was a known entity. It was passed down from one administration to another internationally by the time. And that the thing that he gave them was, I'm not Robert Maxwell. You're not going to wake up one morning with me telling you, you better do what I say or I'm dropping the dime on everybody.
And I think he's still alive. I mean, that's all I had, Jason. Thank you for taking my call, man.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, y'all, Jeff Epstein was not the only one. They're already breaking about there are others. Not there were, there are others. Not as big as him, not as well known as him, not as plugged up as him, but oh no, there's a bunch of mini Epsteins out there. People whose job it is apparently to procure whatever strange lust you have. So for those of you who watch Game of Thrones, we basically have a bunch of independent contracting Lord Littlefingers out there. What? A bunch of would-be Peter Baelishes. And they found a very lucrative way. Whatever vice you have, they don't want to know what you want. They want to know what your vices are. And then he's like, don't worry, I can get that for you. Whatever it is. And by the way, not only can I get it for you, I have my own private island. You will not even be on American soil. I have my own private island. Whatever you need, however you need it, wherever you want it, I can take care of that for you, dude. I got you. Y'all, and what he was talking about is like a drug. Hell yeah. The first time that Jeffrey Epstein brings you the plug and you got 3 or 4 underage girls sitting on your lap and y'all are all giggling when you're chasing them around the damn kitchen and nobody knows what's going on and you don't know you're being recorded, but nobody knows what's going on. Yeah, the first 2 or 3 visits to Epstein Island you take, dude, you hooked. You are hooked. No, not Lord Varys. Lord Varys had information. Lord Littlefinger trafficked in whatever you wanted. Varys didn't do that. He just found out what you knew. Littlefinger, whatever you want, he can hook you up with it. Whatever you want, whoever you need to, folks in power, I can connect. He's the connect. So, dude, once you take a trip to Epstein Island, he's got the drugs, he's got the music, he's got the wine, he's got the Olympic pool. Oh yeah, and one more thing. I need you all to remember this last part right here. One more thing. Did you notice what was missing? It doesn't cost you anything. Damn! I mentioned this to you all before. Do you notice it doesn't cost you anything? Epstein never said you had to pay nothing. So they're talking about a party at his house. There is no door fee. There is no, hey, this is what it costs. Jeffrey's like, hey, if you can make it on Tuesday, pull up. Wine, woman, song, food, bedrooms, whatever y'all want, man. Just come through. Come through. Now, do you understand that? All you have to do is make it there. It costs you nothing. Stress-free. No cover charge. No door charge. You ain't even got to bring your own liquor. Epstein is just like, dude, show up. Whatever you want. It's already here. You ain't got to bring nothing but you. Whatever you want, I already got it. I already got 4 or 5 of them. Just pull up. Pull up. So when you think about it in that regard, that by the way, whatever your vices are, whatever your tastes are, you don't have to do nothing but show up. Jeffrey's happy to see you. All you do is show up. He'll take care of the rest. He's the hostess with the mostest. Do you understand how a Bill Gates will find himself sucked in? Larry Summers? All these squares he brought. Do you realize how quickly they would get sucked in? He's got all your vices and it costs you nothing. And he expects nothing. He's not asking you for anything in exchange for showing up. You just show up. And you sitting there thinking he's just happy to hobnob and rub elbows with the richest, most powerful people in the world. And he is. And then they get sucked in. The next thing you know, because what do you get the man who has everything? What do you get the man who has everything? A question that has dogged people now for centuries. What do you get the man who has everything? You get him the things that people tell him he can't have. You get him the things he shouldn't have. That's what you can get the man who has everything. All the stuff he shouldn't be getting. Jeffrey Epstein figured it out. He becomes a trafficker in everything they should not have. All right, we got Uncle Dut here on Zoom. What's on your mind, brother?
What's good?
All right, brother, what's on your mind?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jason. I'm getting an echo. I'm sorry. Um, yeah, I've been listening. First of all, sir, I'm calling from New Orleans. Um, I just want to tell you that tonight's program was absolutely awesome. Um, Question: do you think anybody from this administration surrounding this situation will be prosecuted?
Short answer, hell no.
Not even Pam Bondi?
No, nobody's gonna get prosecuted. Nobody's gonna get indicted. No, none of that. The very most you can hope for is to get a bunch of unredacted documents so they can tell you just how badly they whored you out and raped you and smeared you. That's literally the most you could hope for now. Nobody's gonna get indicted. You can just hope that you can unredact the documents so you can tell me how bad you raped me. And it'll be that. Now, a bunch of folks are going to lose their current positions. Okay, but once again, do y'all realize they already got everything else? That Sultan, he's a billionaire. The chick at Goldman Sachs, you think she's going to be eating, beanie weenies tonight and ramen noodles? You think that's the way that works? So, I mean, this is decades later, man. So punishing them is really out the window, and you can't do too damn much because these other folks, what we know for a fact is that they've destroyed a bunch of documents. You try to go in too hard on folks, and they're going to start telling about the stuff that is not in the documents that you've released. The documents you destroyed and what they know, they're going to start talking. And you don't want that because then you're going to find out what they really know. And that doesn't serve anybody's interests.
I get you. I thought for sure, not the people in the documents per se, but maybe like Cash Patel and Pam Bondi. They didn't do anything.
They're just following orders. So no, they're not in charge of anything. They don't have any authority for that. They're following Trump's orders. So no, there's nothing for them.
Not even for like perjury. You don't think that's applicable?
Okay, what you're defining it as, that would be prosecutorial misconduct, is what that would be. It would not qualify as perjury because that would be a false statement. Cash Patel said, we don't have any evidence in here that would be actionable for any indictments. I haven't seen any evidence that would be actionable for indictments. Well, that's a matter of opinion. He could literally have a video of them raping your daughter on the kitchen floor and say, I'm not really sure this is conclusive. You would be like, this bastard is either crazy, lying, or both. I'm going to split his head open. But the bottom line is, when you put those folks in positions of authority, you're really at their mercy for how honorable they are. So yes, they get to decide whether they move or don't. You would have to find some other way of remedying that. Now, we have needed judicial reform at the prosecutorial level now since Dred Scott. We've needed that for a while, but the society will not do that because that will be empowering us. It will protect everybody, but the society's like, wait. All we see is a bunch of niggas getting white folk in robes locked up. And we can't have that. So I know they raped my daughter, but let's not get carried away with the locking up prosecutors thing. Let's not do that. So it's going to take a lot more misconduct by these folks before these people lose their appetite for running interference for it. You and me have an appetite for seeing judges get marched out in handcuffs. You and me have an appetite for seeing them get frog marched and put on the stand. You and me are happy to see that. But the dominant society is not. Tucker Carlson, you think he wants to see that? Tim Pool, Megyn Kelly, Fox News' audience. If you think it's just a few folk on YouTube, take a look at Fox News' audience. You think we're going to get them to let us mass incarcerate all these white judges? Brother, every time you turn on the news, there's some white judge talking about nigga this, nigga that, and then black folk. You see you and me talking about arrest his ass, arrest her ass. Where's the dominant society to say, oh, hell no, we're not going to take this. You got to go. It's you and me pushing that event. So until that changes, it doesn't change.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you.
So it's a nice ambition, but you're going to have to get them to go along with it if you want that to happen. Take a look at what you've had to get to occur just to get the documents. I mean, just to get the documents, look what has had to happen. The entire legislative branch has had to turn on the executive branch. And how long did that take? Well, it's been since 2019. So what, 7 years now? 7 years. You couldn't get Biden to do it. So that just tells you right there, if you think the Democrats are going to go all in, just understand this will be a limited strike.
I mean,
remember, you had a congresswoman sitting there during the damn hearings about Epstein taking text messages from Epstein. Remember?
That's true.
That black congresswoman sitting there taking, they talk about Epstein, and he's sitting there, wait a minute now, don't talk too much now. He's texting her, wait a minute now, don't say too much. That's literally how plugged in he was. So at this point, brother, if that's the kind of pull he got, who are all the others that we don't know about yet? Because notice nobody's mentioning her in the Epstein files. Okay, well, he had her number. How many other numbers did he have that are just hoping that we don't ask about them at this point? That's how deep into it goes. So no, nobody's getting indicted. No, I mean, unless a video comes out of somebody raping a kid. No.
I mean, I don't even think that's going to even do it at this point.
No. No. Welcome to a completely corrupt government. Well, you want to know what the corrupt government looks like? It looks like this. It's not Saddam Hussein grabbing up a bunch of folk and gassing them. A completely corrupt government looks like this. This right here.
I mean, I was hopeful that somebody would. I mean, it's not that I expected like Pam Bondi or Cash, but maybe Cash. I felt like Pam Bondi, she's gonna go down with the ship along with like Stephen Miller, but like people like Pam Bondi, what's that, Christy Nome especially. I felt like people like that, if put under a certain amount of pressure, they'll fold, but not Pam, not.
But they have nothing to fold. They have nothing to fold with or fold for. Trump did not choose them because he was bored. He chose them because they are the useful idiots. They're the cannon fodder. They don't know anything. They're just Pam Bondi made a straight ass of herself in front of the United States Congress, just saying some garbage that garbage and word salad that Trump uses all the damn time. Not because it's real or true, but because she was told to say it by him. So that's what the reality is. Reality is whatever they say it is in that moment, in that second. So Kash Patel, another sock puppet who says whatever he's told. They're not useful, nor are they worth pursuing because they're just mouthpieces. They say whatever Trump tells them to. Take a look at the higher ups in the administration. Those are the folks who show up in the Epstein files, but most importantly, they are the people who've lied about what their involvement was. Howard Lutnick, I ain't talked to Jeffrey Epstein since 2005. Blow open the files. Oh, damn. No, you was talking to him way after that. Elon Musk, I never went to his island. Well, we took a look at the files. It wasn't from lack of trying. If you didn't make it to the island, it wasn't for lack of trying based on these emails. You was trying to get in. And we're going down the list. Bill Gates, I don't know nothing about no hookers and whores. Take a look at the emails. Hookers and whores, and here's some STD medicine, Bill. So when you take a look at the higher-ups in the administration, brother, all of them are sitting on pins and needles, and I'm telling you, look at the ones who lied. Donald Trump, Howard Lutnick, Elon Musk, they've all lied about their level of involvement. The files are showing you were all lying about how well you knew him. And we don't get credit for realizing they were lying from the beginning. It's like, yeah, we all figured that was going on. The whole thing is like, okay, well, but Pam Bondi is the chief law enforcement officer in the country, and it would be different if she were the chief executive, but she's not. The chief law enforcement officer is under the executive, pardon the expression. Well, but the executive is in the Epstein files. You think he's going to choose a chief cop who's going to go after him? Remember, that was the only mistake Trump felt he made from the first administration, remember? That's true. Getting an attorney general who wasn't on Team Trump. He feels that was the only mistake he made. This time, he stacked the deck with boobs, idiots, morons, clowns, and sycophants, but nobody who's going to go against him. That's his priority. So no, Pam Bondi would have to grow a brain and a spine. And you're really counting on her to show her human decency. And I'm like, she doesn't have any. That was a requisite of the job. You can't have any decency. And she's like, oh, I'm your girl. And she's showing that she is.
I was just looking for her to stumble across something and be an absolute idiot to go down with it. That's all.
Pam Bondi was not, look, brother, Pam Bondi was not and is not smart enough, rich enough, intelligent enough, or valuable enough to be in the Epstein files. So
That's
she's
true.
not going to be in there. She's not smart enough, valuable enough, or worth enough. Neither is Kash Patel. So no, there's nothing there to trip her up for. She's too useless. She's too useless and worthless. So nope. There's nothing for her to trip over. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, if you're hoping that, well, maybe she in the files and she can get called up, dude. She's too worthless to be in there. By the way, that was what a woman said recently. She said, hey, being in the Epstein files, at least that means you're important.
Nigga, what?
Yeah, that's what chick said. She said, it's kind of a badge of honor here. I mean, if you're in the Epstein files, you must be somebody important. Based on all the names in there, you got to be important to be in there. And then they found she was in there. So, Pam Bondi's case, no, she's not important enough to be in there. She wishes she were, but she isn't. Let's go ahead and see if we can check out Larry here on Zoom for me here right quick. I don't know where Larry is. I'll give you 5 seconds to go ahead. Larry, I see you on Zoom. Make sure you have your camera microphone turned on for me here just so we don't have any trolling issues. All right, Larry. Oh, boy. He's got me on dial-up. All right, Larry, what's on your mind?
Yeah, what's going on, man? It's just crazy, man. This Pam Bondi and
turn off your speakers, Larry. Turn off YouTube and turn off your speakers. We hear me.
Oh yeah, I forgot about to do that. Yeah, the thing is, Pam Bondi and the clip you showed about the Turkish Airlines. I've been saying this for a minute. These folks is really ghetto and trash, just straight ghetto. I've been to plenty of hoods, you know what I'm saying? I'm from Louisiana too, and I don't see too many people act like that. I don't see that too much. And the other thing, we all know there's another Epstein somewhere, a few of them. We know that. Because when you got one snow roach, you got a lot of them. There's a million of them somewhere. You can't kill them all. They go always.
No, he's just the one that got caught. There's plenty of others. He's just the one that got caught.
Yeah. But these people been doing this for a very long time. We know this from our ancestors. They've been doing this. They kings of it. But it got to end sometime. But I don't know. I know what it takes, but I don't think those people are mad enough. They're not mad enough. They were mad on January 6th. They were mad about DEI, but they don't have that same energy for these pedophiles. I just don't get it. But that's all I had to say, bro. I'm not going to stay on here long.
Well, you don't want to get into that discussion because that goes a little bit further. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. What they're also going to find is that it's going to be more difficult than you would think to be able to prosecute Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirators, because America is going to have a reckoning with its pedophile subculture. America's going to have a reckoning with that, because you see, the reason we can't get the illegal aliens out of here is because white men own the farms. So you'd have to deal with the white men who own the farms. Those are the ones you should be arresting. But you see, you're not touching them. So in order to deal with these pedophiles in power, you're going to have to take up issue with that. But you see, when I can turn on a Transformers movie from Michael Bay, and he has actors in there spending almost a minute justifying a grown man dating a high schooler under Romeo and Juliet statutes, And you did not raise every type of holy hell that there is. By the way, I hope Michael Bay is not in the Epstein files. Damn! You see, when we see things and hear things like this and y'all kind of just bypass it, just understand you're setting yourself up for the next step of that. They use that word Lolita. They use that word, but it's like, okay, if you're not going to stop and take issue with that, it's not going to change anything. You see, you running after R. Kelly ain't going to help you. You're not dealing with the pedophile culture by sitting up here scapegoating R. Kelly. That ain't going to do it. Yes, while Woody Allen and Roman Polanski and all these others are sitting up here walking the streets. I don't believe you. You are not serious about dealing with this until I start seeing that happen. So until that occurs, I don't really believe you. I can't believe you. Because I would be seeing a whole lot more people out here, and certain aspects of the culture and the media I wouldn't be seeing. But you see, you're not going to make that stop if you are not going to be willing to start mass incarcerating some of these white men in charge. So until I see you develop a taste for doing that, for going that next step, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You're not going to get anything done until you show me you have a taste for it. When that happens, oh, I might start believing you then. Now, I'm not going to tell you all that that will not occur, but I do not predict at all that that's going to occur in time enough to change this. I don't predict. It would take a monumental groundswell and change in American politics to make that occur. And a whole lot of people in positions of authority would have to be willing to let them go down too. Let's go ahead and see if we can get Superpower Media up here on Zoom for me here right quick. All right, Superpower Media, what's on your mind?
Yeah, Jason, this is incredible. You know, we're watching history. I've been on this planet for a long time, but I've never seen nothing like this before. The debauchery of white people at full blast, full stream, in your face. These people are nuts. And I mean, we knew this, through the slavery, they brought us, slavery and all that stuff, man. But people didn't realize how deep that rabbit hole went when it comes to this pedophile culture that they have. These type people, these men would sleep with their own daughters, man. Because back in the day, we used to always wonder, why are these retarded kids running around in these white communities, with the big heads and shit? We didn't understand what was going on. They were sleeping with their own children, man. And this is like a religion. This is a religion, man. And they're not going to stop. There's other Epsteins out there, man. And what pissed me off the most when I seen Bill Clinton in the photos, man, and he was the main one that was in office when Biden constructed that crime bill. And so he was in the president of the United States when that bill was passed. Look at the sickness of that. He's trying to judge and throw us throw us in prison. And these nasty pedophiles out here on these streets, man, is never going to stop. And what we got to do as black people, man, is guard ourselves from these people. These people are evil. They're never going to be right. And like with the rappers, they always want to bring the conspiracy charges, all in laws. But what all these white men need to be hauled in prison right now, man, and locked up for the crimes of that evil sin that they committing out here in these streets, man. It's nasty, man. And I just can't believe that people are trying to just throw it away. Because what I really want to know, what happened to the girls? What happened to all the young girls that Are they paying them off to not to come out? Or?
Well, no, I mean they have been shown. I mean, most of them are grown here now, so a bunch of them showed up at the hearing here the other day when Pam Bondi was there. So they were showing up and showing out, bro. They were there, and they were in the room with her while she was acting an ass. They were in the room there. As a matter of fact, the congressmen. There were a couple of congressmen who asked them to stand up twice. They didn't just stand up once; they had them all stand up twice. So they were there. The real issue is, are you going to get to a point where you have a society that is willing to sit up here and mass incarcerate white people? Because you see them throwing RICO charges on rappers. Now they have no problem enacting RICO charges on rappers, and we see a bunch of RICO stuff going on all the time over here. And nobody's moving that way. Well, yeah, because the unwritten rule is we don't do that with us. These are laws for y'all. Well, now you need to do it. So not only are you having trouble summoning the will, you're having trouble summoning the political will to do it. Because this changes politics right here. Remember, once you indict them and jail them for this right here, the old narratives demonizing us go out the window. Well, you can't. That ain't gonna work. Because remember, as far as they're concerned, nothing happened if you don't get a verdict. So if you're not convicted, it's not a verdict. So they're trying to figure out a way to convict them, but at the same time not get a verdict, or get a verdict and at the same time not convict them. Are you really ready to take this next step? Because once the dominoes fall, the dominoes start falling. Are you really ready for that? Let me give you a case in point here, brother. Right now, I want you all to think about this for a few moments here. Right now, you've got basically the entire information age, fathers of the information age in the Epstein files.
Wow.
Bill Gates, Sergey and Brin, Elon Musk, Richard Branson, Larry Ellison. You have the fathers of Silicon Valley sitting in them files. Do you realize what a earth-shattering event that is that you can't talk about Bill Gates anymore?
Wow.
Can't talk about Elon Musk anymore. Can't talk about the Google founders. Can't talk about Larry Ellison. Can't talk about Richard Branson. Do you see how far this is going? Do you see all of the cultural capital that's about to get annihilated? No, they love talking about them folk like this. Like, yeah, but I'm not a big enough pedophile to do what Bill Gates do. I'm not a big enough, Russian whore purchaser to do what he do. So do you see how that delegitimizes them? You watch them do that with Bill Cosby. Now you watch them do that with Bill Cosby. If you actually let these things go down, should you be using Windows? Should they be forced to sell the company? Do you see what I mean?
Right.
Well, Cosby ain't on the air. Y'all took him out of syndication and took all the stuff down offline. So are we going to give Bill Gates the same treatment? Are we about to give Elon Musk that too, by the way? Because there's a whole bunch of other folk here that should, if we got to pull everything Bill Cosby had, shouldn't we be pulling everything these other folk got? And by the way, by extension, should we be looking at some other people? Because you don't want us to do that. Remember, there are two of the Microsoft co-founders and whatnot who own professional sports teams. What? Remember that. Oh boy. Remember that. Okay, well, maybe we'll leave them alone. Maybe we won't. But do you realize how many dominoes start falling? The names of cachet, these are historical names and whatnot that, this is part of American cultural capital that we use around the world. We've always talked about, power and prestige always comes around three men, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. They all been fighting for that spot. We all grew up our whole lives. Bill Gates, richest man in the world, richest man in the world, richest man in the world. It became cliche. Now all of them, you got to put them all in the same damn bucket over here. So did you really think that was going to happen? So do you realize what gets wiped out when you do that? Not just the money, the prestige. Not just the money, the prestige. That goes. Are you really ready to give that up? Do you realize that's what I'm saying. Do you realize how much you lose? These guys are supposed to be untouchable, but once you destroy, remember, when you assassinate somebody's character, When you assassinate their image, what have they done for us for the longest? We always thought that was the first step to taking you out physically is assassinating your image and your character and your reputation. After we do that and people demonize you, well, then if we do something to you physically, nobody's going to respond or care. And they see that happening to them now. Well, Jason, why is this scary for them? This is scary for them because, you see, we all saw a bunch of chicks that we knew were bogus come after Bill Cosby. Bill Gates, up until this point, has been spared that. However, we all know that could happen at any moment. And the more of these things that come out, it's like, oh, that can happen at any moment. Do you really? This is the real effect of getting that ball rolling. That right there. Presidents, CEOs, people who have historical significance now in America's technological infrastructure, all of that starts coming down. And if we go after them, if Elon Musk gets wrapped up in this thing with culpability, brother, he's got auto plants. He's got SpaceX. Do we still let him have his SpaceX contract if he's on Epstein Island? Do the states that have given him money to build his damn car plants, because of course we all know self-built means get it from the state. We all know that. That's what it really means. Does he get to keep his gigafactories and his data centers? If it turns out that he's been to Epstein Island, do we still let him keep those? Because right now, the only thing he's saying is that I didn't have any personal interaction with Jeffrey Epstein face to face and wasn't no gals in the room. We already know he's lied once. So if it turns out there's another shoe to drop, hey, dude, you went to the island that one time. Or remember that time that Jeffrey Epstein brought the party to you?
Right.
Yeah, remember that one? I ain't been to Jeffrey Epstein's island. What he didn't say was Jeffrey Epstein didn't come to him. So if that ever shows up, brother, does he still get to keep his gigafactories and his data centers and Grok and SpaceX? Does he still get to keep them? Because I don't think he does. Do you realize how big a domino falling that's going to be?
That's crazy.
I mean, imagine what happens to the stock market the very next day. If they say that Elon Musk, we're going to pull contracts, and do you know what happens on the stock? I'm talking about the whole stock market. The entire stock market crashes the next day. The next day. If they do it on the weekday, it's going to crash right then. You thought when Trump did the tariffs, you thought that was bad. Can you imagine pulling the plug on Elon Musk? You go down right now. No, not next week. You go down right. Nobody's even going to ask where you're going to fall, where you're going to hit, where you're going to land. No, we just going to, everybody's going to scramble for the exits right then. Right then.
Yeah.
And that's just one. He's just one. So no, brother, no, I need all y'all to understand it's going to take a lot to pull this down. We don't have to argue, is it just? What is just and what is, these people being crazy and dishonorable. I'm like, no, this is about power. It's going to take a lot for you to make that happen. Not because it shouldn't, but because where is the political and social will to make that occur? Gavin Newsom went all in for Elon Musk. Remember? Elon Musk got his money because Gavin Newsom in the state of California backed him. Now you look at Texas. They went all in. So if he goes down, Gavin's going to be answering nothing but a bunch of questions about Epstein and Elon Musk. And Greg Abbott will be in the same boat. Yeah, do you see how this goes? So, yeah, it's like, okay, we got to make sure he don't go down because I don't want folk coming at me about him. Yeah, it really is that simple, people. That they don't want to be bogged down, spending the rest of their damn lives answering questions about Epstein because of somebody else they was dealing with. Because they know that's the next thing that happens. You just spend all your damn time talking about that. With people implying there must be something to do with it. So, brother, that's how deep it goes. And I'm just giving you just Elon. Just him. We don't want to get into Trump. You don't want to start that with Trump because that one bounces off his son, Jared Kushner. That bounces off a whole bunch of other people. Not just what Trump did, but it's like, okay, what do y'all know? What did you all know and when did you know it? Because there's no way he did this all by himself, orchestrating this cover up. Y'all, what do you all know? That now this falls on them. Peter Thiel. Now remember, he's got his boy in the vice president's suite right now. You think he can afford to have that show up? Peter Thiel is one email with, what's his name, Wexler away from being wrapped up in the middle of this too. Because he's in the Epstein files, but they just kind of mention him. He's one personal interaction away, and we know Jeffrey Epstein didn't have a problem sleeping with men. Ain't that right, Mr. Wexler? Wow. Okay. Oh, I'm not saying Peter Thiel did. I'm just saying, by the way, Peter, we know Jeffrey didn't have a problem with that. Have you ever been to the island, Peter? I mean, just for a weekend, bro. Not a vacation, just, for a weekend, just to hang out.
That's crazy.
Oh, does Peter Thiel get to keep what he's got? If he was hanging out with Epstein, if he was doing the Wexler with Epstein, does Peter get to keep what he's got? How many businesses want to do business with Peter Thiel or Palantir or whatever, all of his other brain children? Do we still do business with him after that? Because they just let go of the damn chief counsel, legal officer at Goldman Sachs because she was just too chummy with him. If it looks like Peter was too chummy, does Silicon Valley and the investment banks, do they still keep dealing with him? Do they still keep doing that? Or do they pull the plug? And if he goes down, Palantir goes down. Well, wait a minute, there's a whole bunch of folk putting money in that too right now, and we got wars in Ukraine and stuff. Do you see how bad this could get? With folk not thinking that it's not bad. It's got nothing to do with whether or not Peter Thiel has enough money to live for the rest of his damn life. That's not what it's about. You are going to crash whole parts of the economy and whole businesses that were set up by the Department of Defense. That's what you're going to do. On account of the fact that you can't, do you still let these people run their businesses if they've been fooling with Jeffrey Epstein? Do you still allow them to do that? Do you let your business do business with them? We'll just overlook that little Lolita Island thing. We'll just overlook that. Does that happen? I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, somebody in the chat room talking about the UK. Now, there's heavy pressure is coming over there because Palantir is an American company, not a UK company, so the Europeans are more likely to do something. Here's the problem. America is the world's biggest arms manufacturer and the world's biggest military. So, foreign, and the bottom line is when you need weapons, you go with the best weapon you can get because war is not moral. War is not moral, people. So you get the best weapon you can get. Unless, of course, that company is no longer in business, in which case, I guess you got to go somewhere else. So they're not moral about where they get their weapons from. If Peter Thiel and Palantir go down, well, I guess we got to go buy weapons somewhere else. Yeah, but do you allow that? Because right now you have technical superiority. We got some gals over here who got diddied versus artificial intelligence and technical superiority on the battlefield. Are these girls, who are now women, but they were girls, are these girls worth you giving that up? No, that's a brutal question. I don't think a lot of y'all want to ask right there. It's like, wait a minute. Yeah, I get it. You shouldn't be at the island. I get that. We have technical superiority. We have military superiority. Do we give that up for what Jeffrey Epstein may or may not have did with your daughter 10 years ago? You're still upset over that birthday card he made? Okay, is that worth us losing in Ukraine and Iraq? Is it worth that? You got generals sitting up asking, is it worth that? Now, that's going to be a tough one for you to deal with right there. They're like, oh, wait a minute now. But a lot of folk are going to be like, I don't know if this is worth all that. Operation Paperclip, anyone? What? Damn! You think America hasn't done this before?
Yeah.
They just raped your little kids. Operation Paperclip, they were killing them by the millions and brought them over here and said, you work for us now. We'll let that little concentration camp thing go. You just watched hundreds of thousands of Americans die. Going to war against that when the war was over. Oh, well. Gotta break a few eggs, make an omelet. And next thing you know, we're so sorry about your son getting killed over there and things. Yeah. Your whole family got wiped out at Dachau. We understand. We need to get some jet planes and some rockets. Yeah, we need some jet planes and some rockets. So, yeah. So sorry about that concentration camp thing. Oh, here's a few $1,000s. We've already done this before.
Right.
On a scale unimaginable compared to Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, he's heinous, but America's already done this. So that's what I'm saying, folks. You better study your history. We've already done this. You think you can't do it again? And this is nowhere near the magnitude of Paperclip. Nowhere near it. I mean, you're not on your way here. This is where you at now. You're here now. And none of you want to give up your jet planes or your rockets, or you don't want to give that up. You don't want to give that up now. That's you personally. You don't want to give up your ability to get on a jet airplane now. Dude, we can keep them folk alive, but you're going to lose your planes, trains, and automobiles. Oh, wait a minute now. I like my Camaro. It's like, okay, well, I guess they're gone then. Well, we can prosecute these folk, but you're going to give up Palantir. The government's like, wait now. Let's not be hasty. And that's really where you are. I'll let you have the last word.
And I'll say this, Jason. If I was Jay-Z, I'd be running for the hills, man, because I think that's who they're going to try to flip first. Even if they don't find anything in the files on him, man, they're going to flip Jay-Z so quick, man. He's going to be the only one in prison off of this bullshit right now.
No.
So, you don't think so?
No, if anything, I don't know.
I would still run for the hills.
Jay-Z is a pawn. I need folks to understand that Jay-Z is a well-paid employee and a pawn. He has no power. Brother, he couldn't even get that damn casino going in New York. He has no power. He's an employee of the NFL. He's an employee of Spotify or whatever. So Jay-Z he's not a power broker. His job is to do what Diddy did, a well-paid employee who looks like he runs something, so that you can keep black folk have something to focus on to say, oh, there's a power broker amongst us right there. And he's just another employee. So he's a pawn. He didn't run anything. He didn't know anything. Him and Jeffrey Epstein were not buddies. They didn't have any business together. I'm pretty sure that he's one of the few folk that Epstein didn't have a phone number for. Yeah, because he's not consequential enough. So, no. Now, we could wake up and be wrong.
Yeah.
However, if you want to talk about Jay-Z and minors, you had stuff over here on American soil. That's not an Epstein issue. I'm not saying that Jay-Z did anything with any minors. I think we already covered that when they were talking about R. Kelly. I mean, if they had the ability to get him for any of that, they would have done that.
Yeah.
However, I also know Jay-Z is connected now. I mean, his attorney, Alex Spiro, I mean, that dude's the top of the top, period. Alex Spiro represents all the top people. So, and Jay-Z is a part of that, but don't be deceived. He is a part of a bigger machine. He is an agent in a bigger machine.
Yeah.
But he's not a power broker in and of himself. When Brett Ratner was with Jeffrey Epstein. That's significant because he was the director in Hollywood at the time.
Right.
So him, Richard Branson. We're talking about the folk who actually run things at the top, not individuals who basically run an agency. Jay-Z runs an agency, but he gets his marching orders from other people and he gets his permission from other people. As a matter of fact, Jay-Z only gets Jay-Z does not run the Super Bowl halftime show. He coordinates it.
Right. Yep.
Roger Goodell and them, they run it. He's just the designated manager who tries to convince you he runs it. He doesn't run it. They run it. He's just their front person. And that's the way he is with everything. His job is to be culturally significant. As a matter of fact, that's what they said, that he had cultural cachet. As a matter of fact, that's what they said in there, that he had cultural cachet and that's what they were using. So when they paid for him, that's what they were leveraging.
Right.
And so that's how you went from us remember, we go from Black Lives Matter to what's that, Black Dollars Matter or whatever he was saying there. And that his job was to help try to change the narrative. Now, fortunately, the new black media prevented that from occurring.
Yeah.
But he was a foot soldier there to make sure that happened.
But the only reason I say that, Jason, because the way they did Bill Cosby, that was a distraction. You know, they wasn't locking him up for any crime. It was a distraction from all the other pedophiles, the white pedophiles that they was trying to cover up. When doing the I can't think of that other guy's name over the movie industry.
What do you mean, Harvey Weinstein? But well, I mean, like I say, look, whenever there's a black scapegoat, it doesn't matter what the outrage is about. The media is going to say, okay, is there a black person that we can stick the landing to?
Right.
So there's an outrage about these other folks, but who's the black person we can stick the landing to? So that whatever happens this era of history, we want to really associate that with y'all over here, so that we keep our cultural cachet, and that's what you're looking at there. So yes, when you're black, you have to be concerned because they're going to try to figure out some way to put this on you. Every time they talk about the damn trial of the century, it's a black person.
Yeah.
Think about that for a few moments. Jeffrey Epstein was tried and convicted, and that wasn't the trial of the century. Think about that for a few moments. This is a guy now, we find out this is the biggest damn news story in half since Richard Nixon. And yet the media gave that trial no attention. Ghislaine Maxwell, no attention. None. Sean Diddy Combs, you got the blow by blow. Day by day. I mean, that little artist in there for the damn feds, I mean, he was just painting his ass off up in that damn courtroom. You got none of that. You didn't get a damn comic strip for Jeffrey Epstein. You didn't get stick figures for him. They had paintings of Diddy. You didn't get a stick figure of Jeffrey Epstein being painted at the courthouse.
And where are the documentaries, Jason? Every time a black man get accused of something, it's already a documentary ready to go out.
Oh man, look, just give us a week. We'll have a miniseries. Give us a week. We'll be done. No. So that's the formula. That's the formula right there. So yes, absolutely. We don't have our documentary series about Ghislaine Maxwell yet. Hell, all these sleuths out, these economic sleuths, nobody's giving us a documentary about the financing. Where'd the money come from? Who was paying it? Who was passing it through? We know J.P. Morgan was one, but we don't know what they did or to the extent of it. Nobody's put out any documents. I'll be damned. Yeah, I mean, Michael Jackson, they made sure you had a documentary there. It's like, okay, we have a couple of them. Jeffrey Epstein, nothing at all. Don't you see they're running a scam?
Let 50 Cent try to put out a documentary again with this. And man, he'd be done overnight.
Man, they gonna go down there on Sprague Street and board up his studios, y'all. Here in Shreveport, the studio down there on Sprague Street, they're gonna go down on Sprague Street and start boarding up the doors. So look, they know what they can do. They know what they can do. They know where not to go. They know where not to do. Absolutely. So it's not coincidental. It's not accidental. This is engineered. So when you ask me what's going to happen, I'm telling you exactly what you see happening now. There will be some folks who resign, but remember, in the system of white supremacy, you don't get fired, you get transferred. Hey, we need you to lay low. We need you to lay low. Because remember, he was talking to a bunch of important people. So that chick who was the chief legal counsel at Goldman Sachs, brother, she gonna end up somewhere else. Right. I do need y'all to understand that she is going to end up somewhere else. She has to. You ain't going. She's a lawyer. Do you think she's gonna sit up here and let you muscle her out? She's a lawyer. You don't think that she knows where some bodies are buried at Goldman's? And remember, they ain't kicking her out now. She's talking about she's gonna leave in June.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll leave in 3 months. 4 months.
With a big old bag.
Y'all ain't gonna mess with me. You ain't gonna blacklist me. I know where the bodies are buried at Epstein Island and Goldman Sachs. You better not test me. Old boy over there, DP, which so badly named, but I mean, he's already a billionaire. What you gonna do to him or with him? So he's just lucky to get out the game alive, because over there it's like folks usually end up walking out of here feet first. So, like I say, it's like, okay, he's straight, whatever. And with as much money as he got, brother, you know what's going to come. He's going to go invest the money somewhere else. He's got more than enough. So he'll be a silent partner in something, because that's the way that game goes. Please understand that. Brother, you don't have $2 or $3 billion, and there's folk who ain't willing to look the other damn way if you can finance what they doing. It's like, hey, somebody call you, look, this warehouse we trying to set up, this warehouse district, there's Hudson Yards, there's Lincoln Yards, we can put together Mississippi Yards down here. Okay, well, let's go with it. What's the problem? It's remember that little Epstein thing? Yeah. You getting the money for Epstein? No. He's over in Israel right now. But remember that Sultan and the torture video thing? Yeah. Well, he set up a shell company, and he can float us $500 million.
But Jason, we've seen this before. 2008 with the bankers, they left with big bags, man.
I mean, yeah, they left with big bags, but I mean, it wasn't a bunch of kids getting raped, though. I mean, that was one thing right there. This is very unsavory. So, yes, you're absolutely right. Nobody went to prison and whatnot. This is very unsavory. But, dude, there are too many folks out there that they don't give a damn where the money come from. They trying to come up. They don't care where the money comes from. So, he sets up a shell company. It's like, okay, we just finance things. Next thing you know, he's a silent partner in it. And at this point right now, he's probably going to want to lay low for the rest of his damn life. So it's like, okay, now we're back in Lord Rothschild territory. I don't care about fame. I don't care about fortune. I just care about power and dollars. So that $1 billion is going to find a place to get rooted. It's going to find a place to invest in something, brother. How could it not? How could it not? This is too damn easy. There's too many damn folk who want it. They don't give a damn where it came from. It's like, look, as long as you're going to be quiet, hand me the bag. Let me get that. And it's just like, you just sit over there and shut up, because he ain't going to say nothing. He ain't going to be the quietest damn nigga in the room. You know that now. You ain't going to hear a peep out of him. You're never going to hear a peep out of him again. He going to be scared. Even if he pull a Miss Windsor like she did with old Roland Martin. What? Yeah, if you run off on the plug here, he just going to hire a hitman, because he can't say nothing. Can you imagine him at the press conference? Oh, you see, they have taken my money. This is, I understand, it's dishonorable, but I should not be subject to this. He can't say nothing, so he's just gonna have to hire the hitman. He can't even complain. So he's gonna say nothing to nobody. That money gonna find a place to land. If I'm him, which I ain't trying to be, but if I'm him, it's like, dude, that $500 million, or do you realize how many companies you can invest in? How many folk out there are looking for $500 million they can get a hold of? How many tech incubators are looking for $500 million? No, this is too easy. They don't give a damn about that. It's like, okay, well, whatever you did with Epstein, that's what you did with him. When does the check clear?
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's what it's going to be. So, no, everybody getting knocked off here and stuff like that. Most of them are going to get transferred. They're going to pop up somewhere else. They're going to be real quiet, but they're going to pop up somewhere else. Now, if a black person get hit, you ain't showing up no more. But other than that, no. And this is what they've done, brother. If you can gun down black folk and get transfers, so you set these precedents. And away we go. So my prediction is most of these people are going to lay low for the next 5 years. They're going to use their connections because they got a bunch of them. And, you're going to silently or slowly hear about them creeping up in one place or another. They won't be running it. They won't be the front person, but they will be involved. And that's what you're going to hear. Although I say that's what you're going to hear, I say that a little bit cautiously because we can't get the New York Times or CNN to investigate these people now. So what makes you think that they're going to do any looking into them for 5 or 6 years when they creep back up? They'll just turn a blind eye to that. And you just, unless some internet people find it. But as far as your major networks, no, they won't say anything either. So you'll just find them. If we do find them when they creep back up in 5 or 6 years, it'll be by accident or because somebody blew the whistle at the company or something, but it won't be because our major networks or our news outlets told us. New York Times, LA Times, and they ain't gonna say nothing. They're not saying anything today, and they won't say anything then. Hide your mothers, hide your daughters, hide your kids. They're raping everybody out here.
Everybody, man. B1, Jason.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. I mean, I don't mean to sound, defeatist. I don't mean to sound like, it's chaos, but it is. You all have known for the longest time we can't trust the damn media. You know that. You know we can't trust the media. You know we can't trust a damn thing that they do. You already know that. You know that there is nothing that they offer, and as far as the corporate media, they've been delegitimized. We all know you literally can't believe anything that comes out of their mouths. Not a thing. Not a thing. I've been showing y'all other videos here. I want to show you another one. By the way, I've been meaning to share this for a minute here. Our good friend Gary Chambers is now he wants to move the old folks on out the way. Old Gary Chambers posted this video here about Mitch McConnell. Wanted to show you something here, by the way.
The man in this video, Mitch McConnell, was born in the year 1942, the same year as my father. He's 83 years old, and he's a U.S. Senator from Kentucky. I was born in the year 1985. I ran for the U.S. Senate. And people like me in my generation can't get elected because people like this guy, who's being walked to his car, have been there as long as we've been alive, damn it. As long as we've been alive, damn it. So much so that they are being walked to the car by two able-bodied individuals. If your body's shutting down like that, what the hell is your mind doing? How much?
Do you all see how they are weekend at Bernie's? Mitch McConnell out the building. Remember Dianne Feinstein? Remember the Republican congresswoman who, she was in end-stage dementia, and they were like, well, that shouldn't prevent her from getting on the ballot.
Nigga, what?
Remember her, y'all? That Republican congresswoman, they had her running for re-election. She was in end-stage dementia, and the Republicans were like, well, that really shouldn't prevent her from getting on the ballot, though. Write her name down. As long as the public doesn't know. Yeah, y'all remember that one, don't you? Yeah, she was in end-stage dementia, and they're like, that shouldn't prevent her from being on the ballot, though. We're not going to let a little thing like that prevent her from running for re-election. Joe Biden. Y'all can't even, well, what the hell was going on with John Lewis and Elijah Cummings? I don't want to think about it. But come on, man. The list is getting long. So, yeah, old Mitch McConnell, they walking him out the car like weekend at Bernie's. That's what's going on with him. So you see this right here? It's like, wait a minute, Kentucky, are y'all sure you can't vote for somebody else? Anybody else?
by two able-bodied individuals. If your body's shutting down like that, what the hell is your mind doing? How much can you really keep up with what's going on? Now, he's not running for re-election, but he didn't have to get re-elected 6 years ago. And if there's anybody that's remotely close to his age, you should no longer be in office. And since I'm telling you about Mitch, I got to tell you about Charles Booker, who's running to replace Mitch McConnell now that he's retiring. You got to think that this is 1,000 times better than this. I looked it up, Kentucky. Your state ranks number 39 overall, and that Republican, he's been elected since the year I was born, 1985. I'm 40 now. What the hell did you get for the last 40 years besides a bunch of propaganda?
Well, I mean, Kentucky has actually gotten a lot, as a matter of fact. But, yeah, Gary, we're going to stop you there because you made your point here. When y'all see Mitch McConnell, I mean, y'all, it's weekend at Bernie's up in there, man. So 20 years ago when I said you got to watch out for these old niggas, I was by myself back then. I was a much younger man. I was by myself back then. I was by myself. Now everybody wants to say, damn these old folks and get them the hell out the way. But when I was beating that drum going on 2 decades ago, it was a one-man band. It was a one-man show. Folk talking about respect your elders. I said, damn that. I was a one-man band back then. Now they ready to move. Now all of a sudden it's okay to say what I was saying. Now it's okay to say it. But when I was stomping them streets, you need to shut up and be respectful. Now everybody got the courage to do it. Ain't that something, y'all? Ain't that something? All right, folks. Well, like I say, look, we are in a madhouse. The government is clinically insane. It's just outrageous at this point right here. So y'all just watch your neck, watch your grill. I'm literally expecting Ronald McDonald to be appointed Secretary of Commerce. What? I literally would not. There's nothing you could show me right now that would literally fool. It wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me if the Teletubbies show up as the man-at-arms at the Senate. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at this point. There's literally nothing you could do or show me that would really shock me right now. We are through the looking glass. It's Alice in Wonderland. So y'all just hang on tight. Jason, for how long, nigga? I don't know. Just hang on. I don't know if we flying or dying. Just all I can tell you is hang on tight. Because we in for whatever we in for. It is a bunch of crazy folks running this damn thing. And we just sitting along for the ride. I have no idea what's going to occur next. However, whatever occurs next, I will be broadcasting when it does. And if you are new to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend, holidays, some days in between. As you can see, Valentine's Day, we are here showing some love to my people. So click that red subscribe button, click that notification bell, join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't been to blackchannelfilms.com, check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work. Certainly that avail yourself to that as well. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program, live or recorded. Thank you all for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future is very challenging right now.